Verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright.
Que es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, en Estados Unidos que es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, él apoyó a Trump y es íntimo de Netanyahu. Entonces cuando llegó Netanyahu a Dallas, Texas, que había un grupo de judíos o israelíes, no sé cómo se diga ya eso, le decían, oye, ¿por qué persigues tanto a los palestinos? Y les dice, los palestinos son para nosotros los israelíes lo que los mexicanos son para ustedes en Estados Unidos. Entonces yo veo la palestinización de los mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is it worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
This video just resurfaced, and it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable. It's just a puppet show.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line.
This video just resurfaced.
Mi gente, por ahí andan las noticias que según quieren deportar a toda la raza trabajadora y les hicimos este corrido, compa Kevin.
Para que le pongan oído dice más o menos así, compadre. Años tengo trabajando de este lado, buscando el mentado sueño americano.
Los gringos aquí ya no nos quieren, que según les estorbamos.
Se menciona mucho en los noticieros, traen muchos mitotesos del gobierno.
Resulta ya quieren deportarme, en eso no estamos de acuerdo.
Resulta que por ser inmigrante mi valor es insignificante. Si supieran lo que batallamos para salir adelante.
Ya con día salimos a chambear, no creo que a nadie le hagamos mal. Ya quisiera verlos trabajando como lo hace este ilegal. ¿Y qué culpa tenemos nosotros los inmigrantes por querer buscar nuestros sueños? ¡Ánimo, mi gente! Y no se me rajen.
Y así suenan los de la norte, compa Jesús Méndez. Puro elegante récord, mi viejo. ¡Ay, ay, ay!
Unos días no duermo y otros como mal, pa' que a mi familia nada le pueda faltar.
Se murió mi madre y a mi padre, espero volverlo a mirar.
Canto por mi gente, no se vayan a agüitar, que Diosito es grande y de esta ley nos va a salvar.
No más acuérdense de Florida, nos volvieron a ocupar.
Resulta que por ser inmigrante mi valor es insignificante. Si supieran lo que hemos sufrido para salir adelante.
Día con día salimos a chambear, no creo que nadie le hagamos mal. Ya quisiera vernos trabajando como lo hace este ilegal.
Con todos los respetos, 200 aniversario de la independencia de México. Enhorabuena. Y ahora me cambia usted toda la cosa y dice usted que España tiene que pedir perdón. Hombre, es que si no hubiesen pasado algunas cosas, perdone, usted no estaría ahí.
Sangre de indígena corre en mis venas, esclavismo, muerte, llanto y penas. Invasor, se hace llamar conquistador, que no se olviden sus barbaries. Sangre de indígena corre en mis venas, esclavismo, muerte, llanto y penas. Invasor, se hace llamar conquistador, que no se olviden sus barbaries, por favor.
Amputaciones de manos, ejecuciones en la hoguera, empalamientos y ahorcamientos por mi nación entera. Violaban nuestras niñas, violaron nuestras damas, nuestros pueblos indígenas los prendían en llamas. Lanzaban perros de combate contra las personas, su perra conquista de las más sangrientas y matonas. Maldito conquistador, no hay nada que agradecer, todo lo que se perdió ayer, ¿quién lo va a devolver? Y no hablo solo de las toneladas de oro que robaron, hablo por las miles de vidas que nos arrebataron. A mis indígenas guerreros muertos en batalla, en manos de un maldito español sangriento y canalla. Acá la historia no se olvida, ni sus expediciones, en especial con los mayas y sus esclavizaciones. México no le debe ni el buenos días a tu nación, al contrario, ustedes a nosotros nos deben un perdón.
Sangre de indígena corre en mis venas, esclavismo, muerte, llanto y penas. Invasor, se hace llamar conquistador, que no se olviden sus barbaries. Sangre de indígena corre en mis venas, esclavismo, muerte, llanto y penas. Invasor, se hace llamar conquistador, que no se olviden sus barbaries, por favor.
Maldito sea el día que pusieron acá sus pies el perro de Cristóbal Colón y el puto de Hernán Cortés, que tomó la capital azteca de Tenochtitlán. Los 9 niveles, el mundo del Mictlán, Buluk, Chaptán, su nombre el dios de la guerra. Anagua, circunvalado por agua y en tierra. Perdimos tantos territorios y tantas lenguas autóctonas por culpa de invasores que llegaron como alóctonas. Imagina la grandeza territorial que México tendría si no le hubiera ido mal. Pero muerto el perro solo queda echarle cal, y si está ladra y ladra hay que ponerles un bozal. Alzar de la cola que México a pesar de todo es grande, que cada día en los mercados globales se expande. O ya no importa lo que nos digas tú, México vendría siendo como el Hunapku.
Liebe Palästina och krossa sionismen. Liebe, liebe, liebe Palästina. Liebe, liebe, liebe Palästina. Liebe Palästina och krossa sionismen. Liebe Palästina och krossa sionismen.
Och vi har odlat jorden.
Och vi har odlat jorden.
Och vi har skördat vetet.
Och vi har skördat vetet.
Vi har plockat citronerna.
Och vi har plockat citronerna.
Och pressat oliverna.
Och pressat oliverna.
Och hela världen känner till vår jord.
Och hela världen känner till vår jord. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen.
Och vi har kastat stenar på.
Och vi har kastat stenar på.
Soldater och poliser.
Soldater och poliser.
Och vi har skjutit raketer.
Och vi har skjutit raketer.
Mot våra fiender.
Mot våra vi ska befria vårt land
från imperialismen.
från imperialismen.
Och vi ska bygga upp vårt land
Och vi ska bygga upp vårt land
till socialismen.
till socialismen.
Och hela världen kommer att bevittna.
Och hela världen kommer att bevittna. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve, leve, leve Palestina. Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen. 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 Leve Palestina och krossa sionismen.
Viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Hey, what up? What up? What's up, fam? You guys probably hear a different microphone. I'm not able to do it. Yeah. So you're gonna have a little background difference here, and then also sound. I'm not able to do the class today from where I typically would. Anyway, sorry, I had to have that background. So hope you guys were well. Shalom, saludos, buenas noches a todos, buenos días, buenas tardes. I don't got my buttons today, so forgive me. What up, Jeremias? But you know what? I wanted to run this today because it's gonna kind of carry off from the last class. I did leave a lot of scriptures out, and I do want to make a point. You guys heard the initial videos, so let me at least play it for you so you can see what I'm talking about. See, this is one reason why, for me, or at least for you brothers that are aware of what's going on in our surroundings, you should be mindful that this is typical shit. Okay, I've always known Democrats were doing this just like Republicans wanted to, or they do. Everybody knows that, Obama was like the number one deporter. So for us to hear this is not surprising. And see, that's why, family, y'all need to realize they say it themselves. I was saying it before, but they were saying it. I mean, they finally said it. This is a black and white thing. Stay out of the voting. They said it themselves. And I've been saying this for 2 years now. But, let's start with this real quick. Hopefully you guys can appreciate the Lord willing edifying. All right, let's go.
just resurfaced, and it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable. It's just a puppet show.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line.
This video just resurfaced.
You see, so that's not surprising. But apparently to some that want to create politics, right, especially the right wingers and fucking racist bastards, they will use this and say, you see, Democrats, bro, we've known this. We've known this. So look, I'm not going to show you the scriptures today. I'm going to just read them out loud and you guys can follow me. So I'm going to go to Psalms 147 verse 3. I'll start here. It says, for the enemy had persecuted my soul. He had smitten my life down to the ground. He had made me to dwell in darkness, and those that have been long dead. Now, this darkness is also for example, our people are still, I could say a lot of y'all still looking up to this nation, thinking that they are really here in it for you. Why do you think so many people voted for this orangutan? He had made me to dwell in darkness. They are darkness. I'm going to show you what desolation means as well. Edom, a desolate place, is also darkness. And those that have been long dead. Now, the verse for the very, very beginning part says, for the enemy had persecuted my soul. Because in reality, family, I think you guys understand that it's not so much the flesh at this point, man. It's the fact that it pains you. Well, at least it pains me to see what at least our people are going through, or even hearing. Because you got to think about, there are children out there, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that are going to high school hearing some racist ass shit. And I know a lot. I know there's people that don't give a shit about this. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those channels where you're going to have me go on a link like, hey, what's up, bro? Let me just tell you what I got in my mind and just, whatever. No, man. We're going to go into some scripture real quick. Verse 4, therefore my spirit overwhelmeth within me. My heart within me is desolate. That's why it talks about being persecuted and dwelling in darkness. Let's go to verse 17 real quick so you can actually get an idea. Stay in the same chapter, 143. Actually, let me go with, I think it's Isaiah. Hold on a second. I know I wrote it down. Give me a second, fam. I started. I must have done it again. Hold on a second. Is it 50? Matter of fact, let's skip that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 15 and 1. 2nd Ezra 15 verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper. So not only do you have to say it, you got to take notes on it. You got to study this stuff. You got to write it down. Listen, man, I've done it. I still do it. I go through my notes. I still write the stuff down. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Now, some Christians believe in the Armageddon, quote unquote. Some people believe in death and heaven. Some people don't believe, actually, most people don't believe. I would say this: most people don't understand the concept of the regeneration the way it's spoken in the Bible or in the big book. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, because prophecy means something to come. So if Ecclesiastes says what has been in the past is today and what is today is tomorrow, that means that there is such a thing as regeneration, or also the re-seeing of history. Once again, we see in 100 years past right now today, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Somebody's going to take notes of my book that I have. I have notes here in my home. My son may be the one that picks them up and looks through it. If I pass away, let's say early by accident, he's going to have to reflect on what I've done or who I am. That's what ends up happening, right? So those things also matter. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not incredulity of them trouble thee. So exactly like what she was just saying right now. Let's listen to it again. This is nothing new to us. Democrats, Republicans been saying this shit to us for quite some time.
And it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable. It's just a puppet show.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes. And you have to try to learn English. And you have to wait in line.
You know, and honestly, man, and I fucking laugh at everybody. All you damn Democrats talking all this shit, being mad at Hispanics because they didn't vote on your side. That was black and white folks cheering on that shit. Now, let me remind you that America doesn't have an original fucking language. And if it did, it was Spanish, you dumbasses. Because as far as I know, 13 colonies were predominantly British and they weren't speaking this kind of English. And the rest of this land was speaking mostly Spanish and, as you know, tribal dialects. There was no such thing, but yet you're demanding people to, oh, you got to speak it. Really? Most of you guys don't even speak your own language properly. That's the fucking funny part. Matter of fact, let me get that for you, bro. Lamentation 4:21. Lamentation chapter 4, verse 21 says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. That is a perfect scripture into the whole class. Sure, whatever Chicloso likes to call it. I'm never going to let that shit go. That's a really good scripture there because it actually allows us to see how the tables are turning. You see, family, the less you sin, the less tainted you are of these spirits. That means that eventually they're going to have to go to a dirty home. And anywhere that it could be dwelling in that's dirty, like a pig, it's going to stay there, like the scriptures talk about. Mark 4, right? We see the Messiah get rid of all those demons, legions. They jump into the pigs. Swine, unclean. Spirits have to move and stay in flesh. So if you're in sin, guess what's going to end up becoming? You're going to be coming and carrying many, many, many spirits. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. And that's why it talks about being drunk of the cup, because we were drunk of the cup full of sin. Full of sin. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. My wife and I were talking about this, and I told her, she's like, what do you mean everything's sitting out of it? I don't mean sin like everything's sin. I'm talking about when my spirit is not moving, in a proper manner, that's not good. And it's not making me feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable when I'm quote unquote sinning. That's the concept of drinking, being drunk again. Now, this time, it's going to be unto you. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. Enjoy this power. Trumpizoids. Come on, man. Bring it, bro. Y'all want to thread it? Listen, if you believe in the Bible, then you know damn well what's going to happen. When you're the aggressor, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. If you know the Bible, you would understand what that means. That dwelleth in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. Now, when you read this here, when you read this in that actual sense, let's go back to this. Now you can see how 2 Ezra 15:1 says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of thy prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Why? Because they have drunken the cup already, family. I'm telling you, man, I can see it. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. You that made us drink the cup, now we can see you drink it twice as much as we did. I will bring plagues upon the world, and the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. The nerve of people to claim to be Christians, and at the same time celebrating a holiday that has nothing to do with the book. December 25th. Show me in the Bible where it says December 25th is an actual holiday. And I will do it myself. Christians, or anybody that claims to believe in the Most High. Therefore, saith the Lord, or in the Messiah as well, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. This is why I wanted to do this class, which they profanely commit, because we're going to see some examples of, like, you guys blame raza or so-called Latino, so-called Hispanics, and you only use that because of the colloquial understanding or because current words that we are familiar with, because those words do not belong to us. We're Taínos, Arawak, Mexicas, as best as we can say, for the most part. I would like to let you guys know that we're Hebrews. I know that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of you. How can you say that a Bible that killed us is part of us? Well, you know, I tell you this. I've spanked my kids, and they don't like the belt. But it's not the belt's fault, is it? It's the fact that they fucking didn't listen to me. Now, I don't do that no more. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Now, we know what was going on. Let's say, just for example, for the sake of understanding politics, current event, what was being told to everybody in America? Vote this or vote that. They were being promised something that probably was not going to come true. Inflation is not going to change, gente. Nobody is going to be able to save this shit. You guys have to understand economy on a micro and macro level. You can't just sit here and believe that, yes, we had a good run. That's it. It's over. People now can compete. They become smarter. There is such a thing called the Bucareli. Matter of fact, I have notes on that, if I recall. That there was such a thing, that there were laws passed that did not allow certain countries to progress. And I'm going to show you a video that actually tells you how this still has happened, still happening. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Therefore, I will suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. That's what I mean earlier in regards to the spirit when it burns. When it burns, all you can do is pray and ask for, like, fuck, man, is this ever going to change and shit? Like, my shit is not that bad, but I still see it. I still experience that feeling because I have close family that are dealing with these things. And therefore say the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. I went a little far on that one. But you know what? It relates to this point. Because let's look at this video. Let's not forget.
In May 1954, the U.S. Border Patrol announced Operation Wetback, a campaign to deport Mexican workers who were in the country illegally. The program succeeded in rounding up over 1 million people, most of them men. Just 2 years before Operation Wetback, the Border Patrol had deported half as many people. This new policy marked the beginning of modern deportation raids and the militarization of the border that we are familiar with today. The U.S. Border Patrol carried out Operation Wetback to respond to the unintended consequences of another American policy, the Emergency Farm Labor Program. During World War II, when the U.S. economy faced an acute labor shortage, the U.S. and Mexico established a binational.
Now, family, remember the wickedness in regards to what we read, right? It says here clearly on verse 8. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. On verse 8, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. We see here a wickedness. As we're watching the video, right? For example, we're not aware of the fact that you have a lot of pamphlets here. Look at these pamphlets. Look at these newsletters, like Los Angeles Times. Paper, ink, machines, printing press, people, employees that produce this type of material. These pictures. We're forgetting that this also is that propaganda that pushed this hate. Do not forget their wickedness.
Labor program. During World War II, when the U.S. economy faced an acute labor shortage, the U.S. and Mexico established a binational agreement to import temporary workers to harvest American crops and maintain and repair American roads. Though the agreement was initially supposed to relieve the wartime labor shortage, American farmers developed a reliance on imported farm workers and had the program renewed repeatedly for 22 years. Between 1942 and 1964, the Bracero program, as it was popularly known, brought over 4 million Mexican men to the U.S. through renewable 6-month contracts. The program intentionally recruited only men as a way to safeguard against their permanent settlement in the U.S. It was assumed that men would return to Mexico to be with their families. Yet some women also came in search of employment, as did many men who were not able to secure Bracero contracts.
So take a good look at our people right there, family. You know, a lot of us grew up thinking, or a lot of us, and I'm one of them, I'm a judge of that. You know, some of us shaved our beards and shit, or our mustaches, because we didn't want to be considered like a, what we call back in the days, like an insulting term, paisa. You know what I'm saying? Like, we grew up in that mentality, man. We were self-hateful towards ourselves. You know what I mean? I'll speak for myself, because I've had conversations with brothers. Not that I didn't feel raza. I just felt like every time they looked at us, they thought we were stupid. And I'm like, man, I don't want them to think that. I know I'm not fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the what do you call it? Trauma. You know, a post-traumatic stress. I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with any of that, but I'm assuming that's the kind of mental anguish that occurs. Genesis 4:10. Let me read that. It says, and he said, "What hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground." Man, you know what? And that's a great scripture also when it comes to people that believe in abortion. Life begins with the blood. So if you have an actual cell in your body already developing, that shit has blood in it. If you believe in the Bible, you would understand what that means. I can understand when it's like emergency surgeries, but just because you fucked up, that's wrong. Revelation 6:10, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, "How long, O Lord, holy and true, doth thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" Ooh, that's a heavy ass point right there. Because guess what? These Operation Wetbags, Bracero programs, they were digging dirt, fam. And we've always been this type of people, harvesters. You know what I'm saying? That's why when the scriptures, that's why the Messiah, when he spoke in parables, only certain people understood. Because if you study the scriptures, you would know what he meant in regards to harvesting, growing, breaking clods, sowing good seed. Hurry up, because rain is coming, meaning water, meaning the word, meaning the understanding, meaning all of those things that change within you when you start really applying the Bible. Maybe not everything looks perfect. Maybe not everything's walking the way you want it to be. But for the most part, you're not that crappy ass. I could say you filtered about maybe 80% of your past. You know what I'm saying? You're still dealing with that 20%. And I think when it comes to growth, that's the most important thing. Can you look back and reflect and say, damn, I cleared some of that 80% of my bullshit. Let's continue.
The program thus inadvertently led to the dramatic increase of illegal Mexican immigration, as many migrants discovered that U.S. employers had a strong demand for Mexican labor, and many would hire them with or without legal work permits. During these years, the nation lived uneasily with the contradictions of its immigration policy and labor needs. The Bracero program revealed American employers' desire and demand for low-wage immigrant labor, but less interest in actual immigrants who might settle and become part of the citizenry. Immigrant labor, but less interest in actual immigrants who might settle and become part of the citizenry.
So, a very unfair trade, which according to the Bible, it's unrighteous, meaning you're already breaking the commandments. If you Christians celebrating Nimrod's tree on December 25th, want to actually apply the laws, listen, you'll be the first ones dead. You'll be dead. It's a joke to me that you guys actually have the nerve to judge others while you can't even judge yourselves well. Matthew 10:26 says, "Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known." We're going through that today. Let's finish it off. I got another video. Let me just be quiet.
The program thus conditioned Mexican migrants, both braceros and unauthorized immigrants, to work for temporary periods of time in the U.S. and then return home to family. In fact, this was the pattern of many Mexican immigrants for numerous years. American enforcement policy, however, had to reconcile the high demand for the importation of hundreds of thousands of workers with the deportation of those who came without contracts. Deportation.
By the way, that's not a movie, okay? That's real shit.
inflamed tensions between agribusiness and federal authorities. Large agricultural companies wanted cheap labor, while the Border Patrol and Immigration and Naturalization Service, the INS, felt compelled to respond to American citizens' growing anti-immigrant sentiment in the early 1950s by tightening their control of the border. For years before Operation Wetback, agribusiness used its economic power to control the U.S. Border Patrol's enforcement of federal immigration law. On some occasions, Border Patrol and INS officials would simply look the other way when they encountered undocumented immigrants, or, in some cases, legalize them on the spot to avoid disrupting an employer's workforce, especially.
Now, keep in mind, this is the picture that belongs to 1917. If this is it, I don't know if it's a typhus one. How has this changed? In 1917, our gente was getting fumigated coming in here. How has this changed? See, this is why, and I had it in one of my other notes. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you can recall, all be revealed to anybody else listening. The scripture that talks about that you have to accept both the destruction of the enemy and salvation for the righteous. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't get away from that. Anyways, if somebody can get it, that'd be great, because this is important. Let me try to get finished through.
Especially during peak harvest seasons. Operation Wetback was supposed to mark a shift in these power dynamics by diminishing agribusiness's control and asserting federal authority. The tension between employers looking for cheap labor and the federal government enforcing immigration laws remains today. U.S. employers' ongoing demand for low-wage immigrant labor is undeniable, especially in agriculture, food processing, construction, and service industries.
Listen, here's the reality. You white folks that fucking hate us so much, you can really go blow it, because you would not fucking eat a thing if it wasn't for our gente. You wouldn't eat a thing. You understand that all the vegetables that are at the stores come from hardworking people like our gente? Do you guys understand that? I don't see you, not a so-called Anglo-Saxon or a so-called African American or a so-called Asian American or a so-called Arab American or any other so-called digging in these fields. Let's continue.
Immigrants continue to do the lowest paid, least prestigious work, as they have long done. The restrictive immigration policies that prohibit so many of them from entering the country legally, however, have resulted in an estimated 10.5 million people living in the U.S. without authorization. This is based on statistics from 2021. The accompanying aggressive deportation policies of recent administrations have meant that such people are living very tenuously in the U.S. with the constant threat of being removed and separated from their families. During his 2012 campaign, for example, President Barack Obama promised his administration would focus on deporting, quote, criminals, gangbangers, and people who are hurting the community, end quote, rather than hardworking people who are contributing members of their communities. Yet the president, or deporter-in-chief, as immigration activists came to call him, oversaw the deportation of over 3 million people during his tenure.
Funny that it was actually 12 million. That's the last I read. And then when the first time so-called the majority of you Hispanics, I'll call them like that for now, so-called Latinos too, right? That's not really what we should be called anyways. But if you connect to that, most of you who voted, guess what? The left ended up hating you even more. And they threw it in your face. Can't wait for you to get deported. It wasn't just red caps. It was blue caps saying right now on YouTube, can't wait for you Mexicans to be deported. And I'll tell you what, man, this is a very offensive topic to a lot of people, a lot of Christians, because you guys don't like to talk about that shit. You like to swing the Bible around, but you cannot back it up. Let's continue.
This was more than any of his predecessors, or in any other period in U.S. history so far. 2/3 of those deported had no criminal record, other than the civil violation of being undocumented. In the current immigration debate, Democrats have been more apt to propose immigration.
You hear that? So for all you guys that are getting mad at this red cap trying to deport everybody, I've been mad at them for a while because they've been doing it in secret. Again, everything that's in secret shall be revealed. Like the brother's name, all will be revealed eventually.
Immigration reform than the Republican counterparts. Still, both parties might want to consider then Florida Governor Jeb Bush's 2014 remarks on the personal, very human roots of illegal immigration. He contended that people living in the U.S. without documentation have come because they, quote, worried that their children didn't have food on the table. He even went so far as to assert that immigration is a, quote, act of love. Certainly, migration has been a survival strategy throughout human history. Yet regardless of one's views on the matter, we would be wise to recognize that the current immigration and deportation crisis has its historical origins decades earlier.
"60 Minutes Overtime."
The Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country, even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower.
This week on 60 Minutes, we report on former President Donald Trump's pledge to deport mass numbers of undocumented immigrants if he wins in November. It's something Trump has been talking about for years, saying it in an interview with Scott Pelley in 2015 when Trump was first running for president. When Trump talks about mass deportation, he often invokes a former president's name.
Did you like Dwight Eisenhower as a president at all?
Well, I wasn't around during President Eisenhower's.
But he was a fair man. He did
this.
This
A great
with over,
American.
Yeah, he did this with over 1 million people. He did it, and it was actually very successfully done.
It is a manifest right of our government to limit the number of immigrants our nation can absorb.
But historians who've studied Eisenhower's deportation operation have concluded it was rife with civil rights violations and far from a success.
The truth is that it was a short-term show of force. Did not stop undocumented migration.
We spoke with May Nye, a history professor at Columbia University who studies immigration.
Trump refers to it as Eisenhower's plan, but it was really the plan of the Immigration Service and General Swing. General Swing was the commissioner of immigration. And being a former general, Swing had a military way of looking at the problem at the border.
You hear that? He had a military way of looking at the border. Military way of looking at the border. I'm telling you, family, you got to understand what's going on in here right here. Let me go here real quick. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 47. Check this out. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans." Now, in case you guys don't know, the reason it's saying daughter of Babylon, daughter of the Chaldean, is because it's the same concept, same theology, mythology, philosophy, Christianity, religious concept, occult, worshiping Nimrod concept, the Trinity, the virgin birth, the December, the tree, the Easter, Israel, all of that right back again. And I know Christians don't want to hear that. They want to attack the black only camps and claim those guys are not Hebrews, but they got no balls or nerves to ever even say, hey, listen, I want to invite this guy over to my channel and see if we could talk about what you claim to know. Because I'm always asking certain questions and none of these Christians can ever answer it. But when you talk about these things in regards to the virgin daughter of Babylon or the Chaldeans, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 beast kingdoms. It's the same fucking system, family. It never changed. It's the same religion. Take the millstone. It says, "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." You know what I'm saying? Like a virgin, nobody touches her. Oh, nobody knows her secrets. Oh my God, she's so prestige. Like how they used to put themselves in a pedestal. It says, "Take the millstone and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh, pass over thy rivers." Meaning, go and be a hoe. Go and be a hoe. Let the world know who you truly are. Let's continue.
In the early 1950s, there was an influx of Mexican farm workers seeking jobs in the U.S. CBS's Edward R. Murrow reported on it in 1953, using a slur that referred to people who crossed the Rio Grande illegally from Mexico.
Every 30 seconds, a so-called Mexican wetback enters.
You hear that? Now, I've said this to you guys before. That's like calling a black person the word nigger. And I'm going to say it that way. nigger. That's what it means when you call us wetbacks. Do you understand what that means? But it's been so okayed that you have people claiming the Eisenhower, we're going to redo the Eisenhower. Trump is literally saying Operation Wetback. How about they say Operation Nigger? What did they say that? Will that be racist then? When it then it matter. Then it fucking matter. No, it would matter. It would matter? I mean, I'm confused. When would it matter? So when it's called wetback or nigger. You see what I'm saying? But it's the same intent. It's the same hate. Because just like they would lynch them, they would lynch us. No fucking different. This to me it baffled me when I heard it. Like, bro, I can't believe it. They said it on national TV. That must have been in the 50s. Let's go.
In the U.S. CBS's Edward R. Murrow reported on it in 1953 using a slur that referred to people who crossed the Rio Grande illegally from Mexico.
Every 30 seconds, a so-called Mexican wetback enters this country illegally. The number is increasing.
The controversy arose in the 50s around the so-called bracero program, which was a guest worker program for agricultural workers from Mexico. The growers who were hiring these workers, they preferred undocumented workers because they had fewer regulations governing their treatment. But this became an embarrassment to the Immigration and Naturalization Service because they wanted the farmers to only take the contracted braceros, and it was embarrassing to them that there were so many so-called illegals coming over. So the Commissioner of Immigration, Joseph Swing, concocted this big plan.
The other word instead of wetback, it's called illegal. Okay, that's the softer word of the NGR, and I don't like saying that shit, to be honest with you. But I want to make sure that I emphasize the feeling because it sounds horrible. It's because it's the intent of when you say it, man. Like how can you say that to people? The only way you say that to people is because you effing hate them. And this was a word, the NGR word that these so-called white folks use so eloquently. Like no big deal. And now we see a man on national TV, wetback. So eloquently. And now they're saying illegal alien, which is the same damn connotation of hate. Let's continue.
Plan to round up and deport the so-called wetbacks, right? Wetback was an ethnic slur, really. It was the idea that people swam the Rio Grande to come over illegally, right? So it's called Operation Wetback.
In California's rich Imperial and Coachella valleys, guards round up Mexican workers without identity cards and start them on the road back home.
In 1954, the U.S. government deported massive numbers of undocumented Mexican laborers, most of whom were working on farms near the border.
These people were just rounded up, put on trucks and buses, driven over the border, dumped on the other side, sometimes in the desert. In one case, 88 people died from sunstroke, and more would have died had the Mexican Red Cross not come to their rescue.
According to Professor Nye, the mass deportation operation lasted about a year. It became expensive to maintain, and American agriculture growers had begun to comply with a federal program to hire Mexican workers legally, leading them to use fewer undocumented laborers. At the time, the Eisenhower administration said it carried out over 1 million deportations, but historians now believe many people were deported more than once, and that the real number of people is significantly less. 2 historians told us that some U.S. citizens were mistakenly deported as well.
Oh, this is funny. 60% of them were. Let me read that real quick. Isaiah 14:16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, narrowly, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Meaning, is this the people? America? What the fuck happened to them? How come they are not? They're going that desperate? They really are that desperate? Because this is desperation. You guys are at the corner. Beast of people and men. Because that's exactly what Proverbs 3:18 says. Look it up. Seeing men as beast. Isaiah 14:16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake the kingdom? Let's go to Isaiah 47. Back to that. Now it's talking about it in the actual verse in the woman sense, but it's the same shit. Exposing yourself. Is this like we used to look at you all delicate? Is this the hoe we used to look at you? Kind of like, damn, this was a housewife. She was a hoe. Damn, just like that. Isaiah 47:1. It says, "Come down and sit on the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, and sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldean." Again, it's because it's from the first kingdom of Babylon. It's never changed. Do not let nobody, mistake you, mislead you into believing something else. It's literally, that's where it comes from, the Chaldees. "For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind the mill. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea," like, for example, is this the people we used to look up to? Damn. "Thy shame shall be seen." Is this the people that we used to say, wow, "I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man"? You see that now. It's a good scripture to bring up on that point, bro. Thank you. Let's go.
Tom Homan was acting director of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement during the first 2 years of the Trump administration. We asked him about the connection between Trump's campaign pledge and Eisenhower's operation at the border.
You know, former President Trump said that this plan would follow the Eisenhower model, that it would follow so-called Operation Wetback.
I don't speak for President Trump, and I don't know what the Eisenhower plan even is.
The historians that we spoke to call it a civil rights disaster.
Hey, hold on a second. Oh, my God. Are you fucking telling me you're that stupid? Are you that stupid, Mr. White Man, that you don't know your own history? I don't know what that is. You're a Border Patrol, dumbass. You've done it for 20 years. Now, all of a sudden, you don't know your own Border Patrol history? You see, family, this is why I dislike people like this. Christmas Christians, y'all are so weak. You're weak and fake. Worshipping Nimrod. Rod. Yeah, I meant that. Like, that's not repeating. Like, I meant that. You're worshiping Nimrod. Rod. I'm going to get to that, Jeremiah 49. I'll get to that because I have it in here. Listen to this. This is funny, man.
People were deported in dangerous conditions and some people died. If President Trump is saying that that's the model, that gives a lot of people
President
pause.
Trump's not talking about. Look, I know this man. There ain't no
Following the
there's
Eisenhower
no
model,
way,
we will carry out the largest domestic
but that
deportation
doesn't
operation in
mean
American
people are
history.
going to die.
Okay.
That doesn't mean civil rights are going to be violated. President Trump doesn't mean that.
But you could understand how someone might
Well, he could
think
say
that, fear that?
Eisenhower plan was a massive deportation, but it doesn't mean all the negative things that happen are going to happen under his leadership.
You look back in the 1950s, you look back at the Eisenhower administration, take a look at what they did, and it worked.
Well, today you have...
Professor Nye told us that it would be even more difficult now than in the 1950s to conduct a mass deportation of undocumented immigrants.
They're not Mexican workers. The large numbers of people who are crossing the border are asylum seekers. They're fleeing civil war, civil strife, gang violence. There's just too many. It's very expensive. Today, they don't live just at the border. They live in our cities, they live in states all over the country. They've been here 5, 10 years. They have children, maybe who are citizens. They're part of our society. So you can try to have a big show, but ultimately, you don't solve the problem. You hurt some people, and then people don't look anymore, and the problem doesn't go away.
Yep, they're just looking to hurt, unfortunately. Let me kind of look at some notes real quick. I'll see what you guys got. I'll start right here. The beast system. Yep. Hell yeah, man. Plus, the Mexicans hold a good portion of the economy. Yeah. It's true. Never going to happen. I don't know, man. These guys, I'll tell you this right now, Rich. These people, sometimes, there is a type of spirit that will suffer in order for you to suffer. They are willing to suffer just so you don't benefit. And that's how I see this nation of Esau. At least that's what I think. You know what I'm saying? Let's skip some stuff real quick. Let me see. If they deported all the Mexicans, their economy, it was just crashed. Well, it's not all just Mexicans working those things. It's a bunch of different people. Let's see what else. Trying to keep the bullshit dollar going. Yeah, I'm going to touch on that too. Let me see what I got. I'm gonna skip some stuff. Operation Gringo. Let's deport these these white people back to Europe. Where are your papers, Holmes? That'd be funny, man. Hey, check this out. I'm gonna show you this video real quick. I think it's important to see. All right, hold on a second. Because you know what? A lot of times we forget that. Well, a lot of times they forget. You know, we can sit here and complain, but if we don't show these people, then they'll never know. All right. So let's kind of remind them of what exactly is it that you're trying to do. Unless you're ready to do this type of work, then by all means, please do. But I don't think you are. I don't think you ever will. You weren't meant for this. You weren't meant for harvesting. Let's go.
It's 7:30 a.m. in humid North Florida, the beginning of a long day on a large farm where hired workers are in the middle of harvesting roughly 2.2 million watermelon, about 32 million pounds worth, over the course of about 6 weeks, with more than 150 people working to harvest the watermelon. I asked farm owner Trevor Bass this question. How many U.S. citizens pick crops on your farm? None. Zero. Actually, on this day, there is one U.S. citizen, me. I requested a chance to work for one day on this farm to learn more about why so many farmers have such a difficult time getting Americans to work on their farms.
Okay, so this watermelon is ripe, it's ready. We turn it over so the yellow part is on top, so then the people who pick it up know it's ready because they see the yellow part on top.
Everyone I'm working with here is from Mexico, all part of the U.S. government's guest worker program known as H-2A. American farmers can hire foreign nationals under the H-2A program as long as they follow strict provisions, which include only hiring them after trying to employ Americans first, which this farm owner did, and got no takers.
The idea is we have this chain here, and we're going to be taking these watermelons, putting them on this bus, and we're going to be doing it for hours straight.
Dustin Blank is a farmer and also represents other farms when selling finished product to stores.
I own 2 farming operations. And you represent how many farms?
Over 30.
And how many U.S. citizens do you know of who work on any of those farms?
Short of management, 0.
And that's not just white people. Let's not forget that. That's not just white people, because I've seen white people and black, well, not even white people laughing at his so-called Hispanic raza. Here, let me just say this real quick. It was mostly Cubans and Puerto Ricans and Venezuelans and Central Americans who were citizenship and all that shit that voted for this guy. And you have like 3rd or 2nd or 4th generation or 5th generation Texans that don't believe that the raza. Let's make that clear, okay? And a few of their 2nd generation stupid asses. And I hope you fucking get flushed in the toilet. But anyways, for the most part, you guys have to recall this shit. Check this out. Hold on a second. Let me play this. I forgot my phone.
Under H-2A, guest workers can't get paid less than Americans. Florida's minimum H-2A salary is $14.33 an hour. And at this farm, the Mexicans are permitted to work for as many hours as they want, with extra bonuses for the amount of work done. They can easily make more than $1,000 a week. They are subject to income tax. Edgar Hernandez is a husband and father who's...
So my point was basically saying, since you've been laughing at this whole point, I hope you're ready to work. We got black jobs now available for you. We got white jobs now available for you. And brown jobs too, by the way, in case you fit the script. You know, those people from Hindu India, right? Because they seem to be pushing for Trump to be doing it. You notice that they're part of the ticket and they're all staying quiet. Nobody's saying shit on their end. Let's not forget. Let's continue.
Sends all his money home to his family. I ask him why he doesn't think there are any Americans harvesting with him.
Es pesado.
It's heavy, he says. The work is hard. These farm owners don't disagree with that assessment. Americans have other choices and just don't want to do this, they say.
I would say this work on a scale from 1 to 10 would be out of a 9. I mean, it's about as hard as it gets.
There are about 18,000 pounds of watermelon on each of these buses. In addition to these being heavy, it's extremely monotonous.
Both these men describe themselves as politically conservative. However, they say this government program is not only a necessity, but should have an application process that is faster and more flexible.
Yes, we don't need to open the borders and let everyone across, but these guys are coming here for a reason. They're coming here for serious work to try to support their families in Mexico or wherever they've come from. They're not here to play. I mean, it's very obvious. Look behind us.
They're not here to play. Really? Really, bro? Here's the worst part about this whole thing, man. Let me get that for you real quick. Here's the worst part about this whole thing. The truth is coming out, bro. You know, a lot of times we get bombarded and blamed for what did Trump do when he came down those stairs, those electric elevators? And then he goes in his podium. Mexicans are what here? Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second, because I need to find that shit. That shit bothers me. You have to remember Trump's first run. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. Okay, so here it goes right here. All right, so I'm gonna play it real quick. Give me a second. I'm gonna switch screens because this is true. You guys remember this, right? Let's go.
Defending immigrants in your announcement speech. I want to just play again exactly what you said in that speech. Here you are.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Now, you've tried to clarify this statement in recent days, Donald, but I guess the question comes down to this. Do you regret saying that specifically about rapists, or do you stand by it?
No, not at all. Of course, it's not only Mexico. If you let that run a little bit longer, it talks about people coming from all over.
Oh, this is funny. That reminds me of this family. This just reminds me of something right now. Trump and New York 5. He said the same thing about them, that they're rapists and murderers. It's the same shit. Bro, you see how he looks at people? Like, for real, man. Whoever decided to get involved in this political bullshit, y'all are stupid. And then third, to make it even worse, you sided with him. You're a pig. Let's go. This is ridiculous. He calls both of us, or I guess type of men, maybe he gets intimidated by brown and black men, rapists. Maybe that stripper chick was right. You got a mushroom of a Nimrod.
Of course I hate these people. And let's all hate these people, because maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done.
Found a female. She was still alive, in fact still is.
I am strongly in favor of the death penalty. I'm saying if they're found guilty, if the woman died, which she hopefully will not be dying, but if the woman died, I think they should be executed.
Yeah, Rich. I know it's old, but it's still relevant. You know what I'm saying? It's still relevant. Rapists and murderers. It's never changed, even to this day. Rapists and murderers. Don't they bring up that woman that supposedly they raped her? Rapists and murderers. I mean, savages that were over-sexualized. We cannot maintain ourselves. That's how we reproduce so much. So we just fuck around and not actually think about what we're doing. They don't realize that we just are able to, like, you know, all I need is one shot. That's all I need is one shot. I know that don't happen to y'all, but I need to be very careful. And I know our people need to be very careful. All I need is one shot. And usually I know what kind of baby I'm having. And I'm having dreams of what they're going to look like before I'm having them. That's even crazier, but that's another topic. But anyways, let me change this point because I really need to point this out. Okay, so let's prove this fact. So he's, you know, again, we're seeing the spirit of a particular type of person. Go ahead. Let's see. Let me show you something. I want to show you this real quick. I'm gonna bring this scripture out because I wanted to read it before. I just kind of been following my notes here, but I want to read this before I get to it. Isaiah 46 verse 9. Watch what it says here. It says, "Remember the former things of old, for I am God and there is none else. I am God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure." So we have to also accept everything that's occurred and how it's occurred and how it's changing now. You see, before, we didn't know about this stuff. In case you are not familiar with this, they're talking about Mexico being the most productive pusher of fentanyl. Well, guess what they fucking found out? They found an actual, a camp of fentanyl producing. Let's check it out. I'm not joking.
Almost 100 million doses of fentanyl. That's what Mounties say they've seized after searching a massive drug super lab in Falkland, east of Kamloops, and several locations in Surrey last Friday. Police say they believe the lab is run by a transnational organized crime group involved in the mass production and distribution of fentanyl and methamphetamine in Canada and abroad.
The over 95 million potentially legal doses of fentanyl that have been seized could have taken the lives of every Canadian at least twice over.
The RCMP says it arrested Gagampreet Randhawa. He's been charged with numerous drug and gun crimes. Mounties say they also seized 89 guns, explosive devices, body armor, and $500,000 in cash. Police say they've also linked the criminal operation to another case where police seized 30 tons of chemicals from a rural property in Enderby. They're also concerned about the discovery of several tons of unregulated chemicals believed to be used to produce phenyl-2-propanone, a precursor essential to the manufacturing of crystal meth.
Manufacturing methamphetamine using P2P has not been seen in Western Canada until now. And the P2P manufacturing method has been the primary method used by Mexican cartels to produce methamphetamine for years.
Mounties note that cleaning up the super lab will cost more than $500,000. The bust comes just after the RCMP announced charges against 19 people involved in the illicit drug trade in Northeast BC. Maurice Katz, CBC News, Surrey.
So, again, when you see that point, man, it's a heavy duty thing to say right there, right? They're getting old. So now I'm going to show you this now. Let's talk about this. Here, a matter of fact, I'll play this because I don't want to change the subject. Here's what's important to me. We're talking about exposing Babylon, right? Let's go to Isaiah 47:3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Now, think about this for a moment. The wisdom of the Most High, or the wisdom given to the Messiah, is way beyond what we could understand. So he's already setting this stuff up. And I really believe, man, that's why I don't remember what scripture that is in Matthew, I think, but he says, be not over righteous because you have power over these demons. You know what I mean? Because they could cure people from these demons, but just be humble enough that you found repentance. Something to that effect, man. I know I'm messing up that scripture, but it really comes to show you that this is a spiritual world that can actually take over people. And from what I'm seeing is, man, self-destruction. That's why I called it, and I've been calling it that, the Midas touch, occupied, MERICA, occupied by the wasp. We're going to see some actual examples of how blind people can be. The same people that actually have fed you. And this is also for you that follow bullshit. Let's look at some maps and kind of get examples of like who's really the hardworking people and who's really not, and where is most of the money going to or coming from, and who is producing it and who's not. I think that's important. Okay, so check this out. I got a video to show you, and then I'm going to show you some maps and examples of what this lady's talking about. Let's go. This is interesting.
Yes, there's plenty of evidence to show that Republican policies are horrible for many things, including the economy. Just look at the performance of red states. Red states have some of the highest rates of poverty. They have some of the highest rates in hunger and food insecurity. They have some of the highest rates of people who depend on high-cost, high-risk forms of credit to make ends meet. They have the lowest rates of job growth. Red states have the lowest per capita GDP. Red states have some of the lowest average salaries. Red states have some of the lowest higher education attainment rates. And red states' education systems rank the lowest. Research shows that education is one of the best ways to get out of poverty. Republican states rank the lowest in healthcare. Republican states have the highest death rates for COVID. Republican states also have the least healthy populations. If you're sick, it's much harder to hold down a job. Red states perform so poorly that they have to be subsidized by blue states. If Republican policies fail so badly at the state level, what makes you think they're going to work at the federal level?
The black community.
Damn, man, I wish I had my buttons. She's got a point. Because check this out. Let me go show you guys some links real quick here. Give me a second. Is it working or not? Oh, okay. Check this out. Before I move on to that, let me show you this link right here. Because it's talking about total bullshit, right? You know, total bullshit. So we're seeing confusion. This is what these people from red states are being told. And this is a lie. Because this is not a side point. I'm showing you guys how miscalculated, misinformed, completely, I don't know, stupefied some of these people from red states are. This is what they listen to. Listen, what Shambach did was already in plan. They've been working on this for quite some time. But these guys informed their red state people, oh, look, Trump said this, and now the president of Mexico made moves. That's a lie. But you see what happens when you're ill-informed? Listen to this.
About this. Just a week after Donald Trump threatened 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada unless they stop the flow of migrants into the country. And we said, at the time, we said this is how he negotiates. This is, we'll never see the tariffs, but this is how he gets the people to the table. There are two developments, up north and down south. First up, it was just after the incoming president, Donald Trump, spoke on the phone to the president of Mexico, and they talked about some sort of an agreement on stopping the flow of people into the United States. Well, you know what happened? Mexican authorities that same day broke up 2 migrant caravans heading to the United States. And apparently, on that same day, the migrants and caravan, the president of Mexico said that migrants and caravans will be taken care of before they reach the border. That is something new, and that happened after her conversation.
And see, that's the bullshit lie. That's not something new. They've been already cracking down on this for quite some time because people in Mexico have been complaining themselves. So now that we see a bunch of uninformed idiots, let's look at this right here. Let's look at this right here. I'm gonna give you guys a map, okay? Because I think it's time that we educate ourselves here. So here we see a map of like where you mostly see the majority, I guess, of is so-called Hispanic states per capita in the U.S. Okay, pay attention to that. Be mindful of what we're looking at. All right, be mindful of what we're looking at. Here, let me close this up. Be mindful of what we're looking at here. California, all these are blue. Florida as well. Some New York. Okay, be mindful of the color. Remember, just look at the color. Like, just kind of close your eyes for a second. Just picture it for a second. Okay, you're gonna start seeing something real interesting. So now, which states have the most migrants? Okay. So now let's go. We'll go here. Yeah, this will work. At least enough to give us an understanding. This one, yep. It says here, how many people, right? Here's how many people in each state were born outside the U.S. So immigrants make up a big part of the American population across the 50 states. So now we see California, Nevada, Texas, Florida, New York, still the major points, right? The major points. Major states. All right, so now let's look at this real quick. Let's see if I can use it here. I use this here. Bam. Okay. So now let's look at this here. And I think this is probably the better one to look at. That's clear. Okay, perfect. Check this out. So now that we see the maps in regards to where the majority of the people are, look at the national GDP at the current prices. California, Texas, Florida, and New York, once again, where the predominant majority of the so-called Hispanics, so-called Mexicans, so-called Latinos, well, I don't want to call that Latinos, because I mean, neither one of those apply to us, but raza are here. The most Hispanics are Canada, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Florida, New York. The most where there's immigrants, so-called, is in these regions as well. And the GPD is the highest there. Do you realize that the least productive states are the red states? Now you know who feeds them? We do. Whether you're in politics or not, this is not a political jargon. This is real shit. Nah, I think I played that for you before. This is why those things are important. This is why it's good to know history. This is why it matters to understand the Bible. Let's go to Isaiah 47. Now let's go to verse 7. Yeah, we'll go to verse 7 real quick. I'm sorry. Now, you know what? Let's start off where we left off. Yeah, we were at 4. We read up to 3. Let's go to verse 5. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them unto thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancients, hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke since the beginning, 1492. Then it says, and thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. So here we're seeing that now, an independent so-called woman. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwelleth carelessly. You guys thought 99-cent stores, you know, Walmarts were going to be forever. Now you're mad because of inflation. Now you're mad because you have to work 2-3 jobs. That saith in thine heart, I am, and now none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. See what I'm saying? Give me a second. So therefore, hear now this, thou art given to pleasures that dwelleth carelessly, that saith in thine heart, in thy mind, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Like we see it now. They want to invade Mexico. Seriously. You know, things have occurred and things are going to happen, and it's kind of, let me see if I can get it. Give me a second, family. I don't have the link. Hold on. Let me get the link real quick. There we go. Here. That's it. Got it. Check this out. Check this out. Things are changing. The attitude, the spirit of our people have begun to awaken. Even if it's indirectly or directly through the scriptures, I know that they hear the way that we speak. It's been several years now that we've been talking this way now. Wake up. Let's go.
El miserable expresidente de España insulta a México refiriéndose de forma racista a los mexicanos y al presidente López Obrador.
Yo me llamo Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Andrés por parte de los aztecas, Manuel por parte de los mayas.
Y un paso atrás, México es un país independiente, no es colonia de ningún país extranjero. Y el presidente de México no es títere, no es pelele de ningún gobierno del exterior.
Lo que no sabe este miserable es que aquí en México nos sentimos orgullosos de nuestras raíces indígenas, de nuestras culturas. Y lo que no sabe es que por historia somos hijos de dioses. ¡Que viva México!
Senadores estadounidenses están furiosos con México porque el presidente López Obrador les expropiará minas ubicadas en Quintana Roo de la empresa Vulcan Materials, las cuales se les fueron otorgadas dichas minas gracias a los gobiernos neoliberales. Y durante más de 20 años estuvieron explotando las minas y llevándose todo el recurso para construcciones a Estados Unidos, dejando a su paso un ecocidio en la selva maya.
Esta empresa Vulcan, en complicidad con las anteriores autoridades mexicanas, destruyó nuestro territorio. Llevaron a cabo un ecocidio. No podemos permitir eso.
López Obrador les dejó muy claro que clausurará esas minas y las declarará como área natural protegida, así evitando que ninguna empresa nacional o extranjera explote ningún recurso en esa selva.
And, you know, it goes back to the scripture that we were reading. In verse, I believe, verse 6, I was wroth with my people, I have polluted my inheritance. Why? By having you here. By your actions. By your actions. You have polluted this inheritance of a land. And scriptures say that we more likely will not be here in this land. Scriptures say that it's going to destroy it. I don't know. To me, that's kind of it's crazy. But now, listen, we saw how they've been absorbing all the resources at the expense of the, ecology, I guess you could say. Now we're going to find out exactly why maybe some of these people want to invade Mexico. You really think it's because of the cartel? Or is it because of the lithium? You do know that, and I think I showed this picture to you guys before. Elon Musk said, "We cool whoever we want," and then he makes another post on his X platform that the best thing to invest in right now is lithium. So then now, why are they wanting to invade? That ain't the drugs, fam. It's this right here. Mexico took a step forward. Check it out.
Senadores estadounidenses están furiosos con México.
Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it, bro. That's not it. What are you talking about? This goes right here. It goes right here. Okay. This is it right here. My bad. It was the wrong one.
Tiembla Tesla con esta noticia. Ahora resulta que el gobierno de Claudia Sheinbaum fabricará automóviles eléctricos para los mexicanos.
Produciremos elolínea, que significa moverse en náhuatl. Un pequeño auto de acceso popular, 100% eléctrico, 100% diseñado por jóvenes mexicanos y mexicanas y ensamblado totalmente en nuestro país.
You guys hear that? They even called it it's not Nahuatl, it's Nahuatl. With the hard T at the end if you can't say it with the L and T. Nahuatl or Nahuatl. So they're going to use the total amount of lithium that they have in Mexico to produce electric cars, just like they did in China. And the China car, the DYD or BYD or something like that, that car is outselling the Tesla by 1,000%. This is why I tell you, gente, you guys need to not only study the scriptures, but at the same time, read, look at history, and see the economy. Pay attention to politics, but don't get involved. Let's go.
Tiembla Tesla con esta noticia. Ahora resulta que el gobierno de Claudia Sheinbaum fabricará automóviles eléctricos para los mexicanos.
Produciremos elolínea, que significa significa moverse en náhuatl. Un pequeño auto de acceso popular, 100% eléctrico, 100% diseñado por jóvenes mexicanos y mexicanas y ensamblado totalmente en nuestro país.
Esto sería un gran avance para México en cuanto a tecnología, para demostrar el talento y trabajo de los mexicanos. Esto nos convertiría en un país clave y estratégico a nivel mundial.
Haremos de México una potencia científica y de la innovación. Para ello apoyaremos las ciencias básicas, naturales y las humanidades.
There's a reason why, this is actually progressing. There's a reason why this type of growth is being allowed. Let me see if I can actually show you guys now. I'll probably touch on it in a bit. Give me a second. Hold on. Did I put the link in here? I might have to look at it for somewhere else. No. Give me a second. Shoot. I'm gonna have to look for it. But let's continue this. I'll follow my notes, but let's continue this real quick. Hold on a second. Let me go back up. Man, I thought I had the link. Now I have to look for it. It'd be good. It'd be a good thing for you guys to see what we're talking about. Anyways, let's go to Jeremiah 50:1. I'm sorry, no, Jeremiah 50. Jeremiah 49:10. It says, But I made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Now, that seed that's being spoiled can also be seen in the way that Trump is picking his cabinet of a bunch of idiots. It almost seems to me like he's the Trojan Trump. The Trojan Trump of America. Leave thy fatherless children. I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. Now, this part here, but I have made Esau bare. It's a heavy point. He has been picking people that have had some crazy records, man, like child abuse or rape or I mean, I don't know if you call it child abuse, but if you have sex with somebody younger than you, then like under 18, that's child abuse, isn't it? Wasn't it one of his picks? Literally. And I think that's why Obadiah 1:8 says that whole concept of being desolate, because it starts in the mind, just like it did for us. It says, Obadiah 1:8, shall I not in that day, say the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Just like Romans 1:22, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. We read in Jeremiah 49. Let's go back to it real quick. Jeremiah 49:7 says this, concerning Edom, thus say the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Desolate places. Now we have Christians that think they're super Christians and aren't even keeping the commandments, telling us how to or what to believe, going to different channels, claiming to be all Christians and shit, but can't explain a damn thing as to why they celebrate these holidays that do not pertain to the book. I'm sorry. So that's why Psalms 1:1 says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seats of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. Now, listen to this. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of the sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. If you guys remember the scripture here, Proverbs 14:12, it just kind of came to me. Thank you, Father. There is a way which seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Why? Because you follow other people or their doctrine. Blessed is the man, Psalms 1:1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. If you don't walk in their counsel, that means you're walking in the counsel of the Most High. nor standeth in the way of the sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Why? Because if you learn those habits of misinterpreting the Bible, guess what? You're no different. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and is in the law that doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be planted like a tree. I'm saying here shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaves also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Again, that's why when the Messiah spoke in parables, you should understand who he was talking to. And if you don't understand it, then he wasn't talking to you. And you dumb Christmas Christians that want to always bring up Abraham and write about him and shit, how come you never can explain why he circumcised himself after 24 years of walking with the Most High? If you say so based on your Bible. But there's other books that show that he was walking with him longer. But let's just base it on the, Old Testament, New Testament, and Apocrypha. So-called 24 years that the Most High walked, or the Abraham walked with the Most High before he circumcised. Explain that to me, Christmas Christians, why that happens. So again, if you don't understand the parable of a tree, the fruit and the tares, the breaking the clods, the being born again, the old wine and the old new wine and old bottle don't work. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand what a tree being planted by the river of waters means. So once again, blessed is he that followeth the word, and not this stupidity, because guess what? You're going to be falling into the whole dumbass shit. Oh, vote this way, vote that way. That ain't going to save you. And you know what? I'm glad that it happened that way, family. And I'm glad that you guys got to see it. At least you know I'm not lying. You saw the racist shit to this very day. You got so-called African Americans talking some racist shit to our gente. Why? Because you have the right now? I mean, damn, man. The left is not as racist as the left. The so-called white man, or the Anglo, that's the Democrat, was not bombarding so-called Hispanics on why they didn't vote with him. It was a so-called black man and black woman talking mad shit and saying, man, I can't wait for you beaners to get deported. See, family? Jeremiah 28:7 says, nevertheless, hear down this word that I speak in thine ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and pestilence. Many countries, meaning many nations. I'm not just aiming at the white man like the BHI does. And I'm not just being Mr. Christian. Oh, it was Satan. No, bro. You don't know then if that's the case. You don't know if that's the case. Now we're talking about, give you some examples of some wickedness that goes on here. Let me show you this real quick. We have come to a point where some of these heathens are getting really mad. Let me show you something real quick. Where is it at? Okay, here it goes right here. So check this out. We're going to start watching it at this point here. Hold on.
Also, some breaking news.
Give me a second real quick. I'm going to start at the 5th minute. Oh, come on, bro.
Also, here's some breaking news. Donald Trump is going to impose.
Check this out.
Also, here's some.
Let's check it out at 5 minutes. Got something to share with y'all real quick. All right, check it out. Let's see the value. Let's see the value of things. I think this is really why the anger. You know, we saw how Donald Trump wasn't too happy with what I've been talking about. You know what I'm saying? So check this out.
This is so stupid. Like, this is, people will say, Hassan, how are you like laughing about this? But it's like, it's so completely out of my hands. We've already described how tariffs work, right? Like, I think everybody here, at least now at this point, understands how it works. Like, it's a fee that companies that are importing stuff are going to have to pay to the government, and therefore therefore they're going to make the cost of goods that much higher for the average American. They're going to carry over the cost. They're not going to like eat away at their profits, eat away at their profit margins. It's going to make every single thing more expensive. So it's basically a sales tax. No, dude, China doesn't pay the tariffs. What are you talking about? Shut up. What? That's not real. No, why would they pay for the tariff?
You want to allow drugs to come through our southern border? We're going to tariff you. You want to allow them to come through Canada? We're going to tariff you. China, if you're going to allow this stuff to get sold in our country, largely produced in China, we're going to add another 10% to your share. We are going to cost your countries, your economies. We're going to cost your businesses billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. If you think you're going to poison Americans, it's not going to happen. You're not going to destroy our youth. You're not going to destroy our society. You're not going to.
Listen, poisoning is when you don't expect to get, poisoned and you just take it by accident. Fucking doing drugs is you're a drug addict, okay? It's not our fault that you guys don't know how to raise your kids. You kick them out as soon as they turn 18. You feel like you're not responsible for them no more. And then you want them to be adults by 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22 on their own. For God's sakes, what do you expect? No wonder they're on drugs. Yeah, rush your kids to get the fuck out. That's not how we do it. Well, let's continue, and let's continue to hear the stupid and hypocritical nonsense.
Going to destroy our families. You're not going to do it. It's going to cost you. I'm going to put an end to it. Laura, when my father sent that 20 minutes ago, I literally cheered out loud.
This is crazy. I don't understand. Like, do they legitimately think that China's going to pay for it or something?
Let's not talk about the money, man. They're over here talking about families. They're not going to destroy families. You mofos are such a bunch of hypocritical liars. You get rid of your kids as soon as they turn 18. What are you talking about? You destroy your families. You guys destroy your families. Nobody tells you that, oh, I'm not responsible for you no more. Bye, Felicia. That's what you guys do. Then you want to complain about somebody destroying your families. Oh, nobody poisoned y'all, man. You just don't know how to say no because you're so destroyed as a nation. And here's the really sad part. Revelation 12, 22 and 11 says this, man, and I'm glad I wrote it down. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. Let's continue to listen to this filthiness. Let him stay there, like the brother said. Let him marinate in their whatever it is. Their hate, whatever.
Like, I don't, like, how would China have the capacity to pay for it? Do you think that they're just going to give money to the people that are importing it, or do you think they're going to cut costs to make up for the tariffs? Is that what it is? Even though they haven't done that? Like, how are they thinking that this process works? It's so funny being Canadian right now, being in the Canadian government, being like, what? Drugs are coming over our border? What are you saying? Like, what? There's a mass influx of migrants fleeing Canada into America? What? Why do tariffs raise prices but corporate taxes don't? First of all, when have we increased the corporate tax rate? You mean to say, why don't prices decrease when corporate tax rates decrease? If that's your question, then yes, that would be a good question to ask economists. It seemingly never goes in that direction. But as far as like a corporate tax versus tariffs, it makes sense. You can move certain things around, but
So let me explain to you guys why this even happens in the first place. Okay, why the hell is there even such a thing as a tariff, and why do people want to get around it? Okay, so here's what's going on. Okay, this is from kitco.com. It's regarding information on currencies and crypto and metals and shit like that in the markets. BSI withdraws from Project McBride after BRICS lauded its potential to aid in de-dollarization. Now, this led me to understand something deeper than what this is. This is a platform. Okay? It's a platform there where they were thinking of using it in order to trade funds or currencies. All right? But once these guys found out that they could, or at least they got, I don't know, maybe the US said, hey, are you trying to trade outside of our currency? That's basically it. Here's what's going on. The Society of Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecom, SWIFT. What is the Society of, what is SWIFT? SWIFT is a member-owned cooperative providing secure messaging for international transfers of money between participating banks. Okay? So it's like a system that allows instructions on how you're going to wire money and what is it being wired for. It says here on another article on bitcoinke.io, it says global over 60% of low-income countries, nearly half of the global population dealing with sanctions, financial penalties from U.S. This is why people are tired of the Anglo-man. United States is by far the most prolific sanctioning authority. So when something doesn't look right for the U.S., they want to fucking sanction people. So what happens is they freeze your money. Let's say, for example, you and I don't know, all be revealed. You and I are all be revealed rich in Guaracuya. Again, example, we're all four people dealing with each other. And there's like one central bank that provides us the funds, like Monopoly, right? But I don't just have an advantage of me, being in charge of the game. I also can benefit an interest of the money. That's what happens. As long as you move in my currency, no matter what you do, even if I lose in the game, I'm still winning because you're fucking with my money. You're playing with my money, meaning like, you know what I mean? We're involved in this together. That's what it means. That's why Revelation 22:11 says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. Let him. So now that we're listening to people getting mad about, hey, yo, listen, that don't be using the BRICS currency. Why do you think Trump said that? Trump's put a message. Anybody that messes with the BRICS currency, they're going to be sanctioned by America. Check it out. I think this is it. Check this out. I'm going to show you this video right here. This is El Putin. And pay attention to what he's saying. It's kind of relating to what I was talking about. When you're messing with their money, regardless of what you do, what doesn't matter, what you decide on. And a matter of fact, that relates to, what? This is the perfect thing. Man, I thank you, Father. Revelation 12:10 says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and the strength and the kingdom of God and the power of the Meshiacha. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuseth them before our God, that's day and night. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and in the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Right? Let's go back to let's go now to Revelation 13. Because I was going to read that, but this is what I like. It says, Revelation 13:15. And he had a power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both in small, great, rich, and poor, free bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in the forehead. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now, I'm going to tell you something. We've been dealing with this currency of the dollar for a long time. Now they're mad. Now Trump is mad that, listen, you go to the dollar, I'm going to sanction you. That's what he said. Listen to this. And now listen to what Putin is saying in regards to how America has always benefited from sanctions and dealing with their money. Let's continue.
Это за счет доллара продолжают заниматься эксплуатацией других экономик мира в свою пользу. Мы никогда не отказывались от доллара. Мы разве отказывались? Господин Трамп такой человек, который... Использование доллара как мировой валюты приносит Соединенным Штатам незаработанные деньги в большом объеме. Вот по мнению наших экспертов, где-то за последние 10 лет примерно они получили 10 триллионов долларов. Просто так, с неба, за факты использования доллара как мировой расчетной резервной валюты. Ну, это на ставках, на размещениях, в их банках там, и так далее. 10 триллионов – это прилично очень. Это значит, что они потребляют больше, чем производят. И вот это очень важная вещь. То есть, по сути, Соединенные Штаты за счет доллара продолжают заниматься эксплуатацией других экономик мира в свою пользу. Вот, например, биткоин. Кто может запретить? Никто. А использование других электронных средств расчета кто может запретить? Никто. Когда не отказывались от доллара. Мы разве отказывались? Это нам отказали в его использовании. Но отказали, как у нас, знаете, говорят, за что боролись, на то и напоролись. Напоролись на проблемы самого доллара. Теперь, конечно, надо задуматься о том, что делать дальше. Вот это все происходит от самоуверенности, от чванства.
В разговоре с ним скажете, знаешь, чтобы он поаккуратнее был, так что не махал.
Господин Трамп такой человек, который в советах и рекомендациях не нужен. Соединенные Штаты и европейцы пошли. Они, правда, не сделали последнего шага, они заблокировали, но пока не украли у нас этих денег окончательно. Заблокировали.
You see that? What he's talking about? He's talking about it's true that they have not taken the final steps. They have blocked our accounts, but they have not yet definitely stolen this money from us yet. So through the SWIFT account that I told you about, by using the dollar currency, that's how they authorized sanctions and said because of the SWIFT and, you know, the whole company that got away from the BSI, which one, the platform that I was talking to you guys about. I don't want to go back to look at the link. You can see that they were involved in it. So the SWIFT account says that they're neutral and all that shit, but in reality, they're not. They're in charge by this hand. And when this hand says, we don't look, okay, like for example, we can be in an agreement, but if I don't like that the way that we agreed is not favoring me, I want to change it. That's not right. What about a contract? No, I don't like the outcome. I don't like it. I'm gonna block you now, and now you can't use my money. Well, wait a minute, it's my money. No, it's my money because it's the U.S. dollar. You see what I mean?
Мы со своей стороны вынуждены были принять соответствующие меры, отправлять счета на счета С, так называемые.
So now that you get an understanding of that, let's check out this right here because this is also important. I think here now we can understand that. Why that scripture regarding the verse, let me go back to Revelation 13:17, and no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Some people think that's a chip. It's beyond that. Let's check it out. Let's listen to this. Listen to how they now are threatened.
Donald Trump has a new target, the BRICS group of nations. It started off as a club of 4 developing nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Over the years, 5 more countries joined. South Africa, Ethiopia, Iran, Egypt, and the UAE. So 9 members in total. The BRICS is often seen as an alternative to the G7, a sort of rival to the Western order, and Donald Trump doesn't like that. He's targeting a cornerstone of the BRICS agenda, de-dollarization. The idea is to reduce trade in US.
I was counting them. 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There's one missing. Now you guys know why that map I showed you about Shane Bong against Trump matters? Let's go.
Agenda, de-dollarization. The idea is to reduce trade in US dollars and instead use local currencies. That is de-dollarization. Local currencies like the Indian rupee or the Russian ruble or the Chinese yuan. Donald Trump doesn't like that one bit. Listen to what he said on social media, and I'm quoting, "We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar or..."
See, you cannot buy or sell unless you can use my money. Revelation 13:16, and he caused both great and small, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, the mighty dollar. You cannot trade unless it's with my mighty dollar. Let's go.
Or they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the wonderful US economy. They can find another sucker. A typical Trump threat. Adjectives plus high stakes plus Twitter post. But what's his plan here? Well, tariffs seem to be Trump's new favorite weapon, whether it's against Canada or against Mexico or against China, or now against the BRICS nations. Donald Trump says, promise to not abandon the US dollar. If not, he will impose a 100% tariff on BRICS goods. Suppose an Indian car is being imported into the US. The price of the car is $12,000. American importers will have to pay 100% of that as import duty. That means another $12,000. So the cost of that vehicle in America just doubled. That's how tariffs work. Now, how realistic is this threat by Donald Trump? Most of the BRICS nations have not reacted yet, but Russia has. They say such threats will accelerate the dollar's decline.
If the United States use force, as they say, economic influence of some kind, to make other countries use the dollar, it will probably further strengthen the tendencies to use national currencies. Dollar is beginning to lose its attractiveness as a reserve currency for a number of countries.
Trump's allies say it's all about leverage. He's not serious about the tariffs. He's using it to gain an upper hand in negotiations. They also point to the example of Canada.
It's not. It's more of them gaining, retaining, and staying in power. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that no more.
To me, the most beautiful word in the...
What is done is done. Let me play this real quick here. Check this out. Give me a second here. I'm going to play the other sound. Give me a second. It don't sound good. Here we go. There.
Tariff, and it's my favorite word. It needs a public relations firm to help it, but to me it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
100, 200% on things you don't really like. You're also talking about 10, 20%.
I agree it's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative. Let me just I know how committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then
I find it funny how a man with a pig face, like if you compare his eyes to a pig's eyes, he looks just like pigs, right? He can sit there and try to tell a man that's been studying economy for a long time, almost every day, on how, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I know because I'm the greatest. And you dummies voted for the stupid man.
Have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong.
Well, Jagger, I guess we'll see about that. And while demure, as you point out, was announced earlier today as the word of the year, tariff could have been a close second, given the way that it's being banned.
Elect Donald Trump to impose tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China as soon as he takes office in January. In a post on Truth Social, Trump says the tariffs would remain in place against Mexico and Canada, quote, until drugs, in particular fentanyl and all illegal aliens, stop this invasion of our country, end quote. Both China and Canada say they're open to continued dialogue. A top Mexican official says increased tariffs will only make it more difficult to find solutions to other issues.
Well, a whole host of other issues, as it turns out, because while Tom Homan and Donald Trump are ready to descend on the Mexican border with a full force of anger and vengeance that seemed promised over and over again during this election, this is the wall they are going to run into. La Doctora, or as she is formally known, President Claudia Sheinbaum, the first female Mexican Jewish president in the country's history. As we are about to see, this highly respected, incredibly smart, highly educated woman, well, she might not be welcoming Donald and Tom quite this way. Her political savvy response to the incoming president's proposal and its residual effects, that's the stuff of our featured video today.
In fact, Mexico's president held a press conference this morning in response to President-elect Donald Trump's threat to impose tariffs on Mexico, actually. But Jim, as you know, all of these things are intermingled. Mexico's president was very firm. She called out President-elect Donald Trump, saying that both Mexico and the United States collaborate on a lot of different levels, including economically. And in other words, she said that she's ready to respond in kind. Let me read to you a portion of that letter that she sent to President-elect Donald Trump. She said, quote, President Trump, neither threats nor tariffs will solve the issue of migration or drug consumption in the United States. Cooperation and shared understandings are required to face these important challenges. Imposing one tariff would mean another comes in response. I'm going to read that one more time because these are very important words from Mexico's president. Imposing one tariff would mean another comes in response, continuing like this until we put shared companies at risk. Now, the tone of this letter is very important because Mexico's president is not just talking about tariffs, about the economic relationship with the United States, but also the border relationship with the United States, because Mexico has done a lot to help the Biden administration control the migration that is coming into the U.S. southern border, which begs the question about what is happening on the U.S. southern border, given that Governor Greg Abbott and the incoming U.S. border czar, Tom Homan, are on the border today. Here's the reality. The migrant apprehension numbers are extremely low. I talked to a law enforcement source, Jim, who says that on Sunday, migrant apprehensions were about 1,500. If you compare that to December of 2023, when 10,000 people were crossing the border per day, that just gives you a sense of the dramatic change. The reality is, and I've talked to both people on the ground, agents, and also advocates who work on the border, they say it is very quiet right now, very low, despite what you're hearing from Governor Greg Abbott and the incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Back to you.
So it's all bullshit, basically. Psalms 12:5 says, for the oppression of the poor, for the sighting of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in furnace of earth and purified 7 times. Now, I know that a lot of you guys probably have a problem with this book. And I've said it before in other classes that the translation and transliteration has bombarded this book. The truth is in here. And that's why the parables are there. I hate to tell you, man, but that's just a fact. If you hate it, maybe it's something about you. That you hate righteousness. Do you think that everything that we have in front of us is truth? If that's what you think, then you are effed up already by believing it. It says there, verse 7, thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk in every side when the violent men are exalted. You see that? Aren't they doing this right now? The wicked walk on every side. Don't we see Nazis marching? Don't we see white folks, black folks dissing our gente? Can't wait to get deported. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. What does this man say since he came down the elevator? We're murderers, we're rapists, we're drug dealers, we're the worst of the worst. Scriptures speak for themselves. Psalms 12:8, the wicked walk on every side, proudly, marching with their flags. Trump, deport, deport, deport. I'm looking forward to Operation Wetback. I can't wait for you Mexicans to get pendejo, right? It's funny, man. The left, white folks didn't really say much to Hispanics when they voted to the right, but the left, black folks fucking attacked our gente and showed their true racist spirit. The wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. So when they give you authority to be racist towards us, you say, yeah, that's right. We always knew that white and black folks always know how to play this chessboard. We always knew that. Y'all get it for you. Proverbs 24, 17 and 18. It says, for a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked, no, I'm sorry, verse 17, rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth. Lest the Lord see it, and it displeaseth him, and he turn away his wrath from him. And that's what's happening. I'll show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm not joking. I'm not joking, man. Because they considered us as counterfeits. They thought we weren't worthy.
Mexican.
Look, check it out. Check it out. I want to laugh at this for a second, okay? I don't know how long I'll let it play. I'll let it play for a bit. Thought he was funny. Let's go.
Americans don't like to wake up early in the morning, but they have to, so they do it real slow. Roll it.
To make about 1,402 acres in the Texas region, a mass deportation concentration camp where the bloody deportations will be taking place.
Oh! I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Latinos for Trump. Get a load of this.
She goes, Dear President Trump, and the subject line is Texas offering 1,400 acres of land adjacent to Texas-Mexico border for construction of deportation facilities.
Those would be concentration camps.
I'm writing to formally offer 1,402 acres of land in Starr County, Texas, to be used to construct deportation facilities. The Texas General
Concentration camps.
Land Office currently owns a 1,402 acre tract, roughly 35 miles west of McAllen, Texas.
Concentration camps.
My office is fully prepared to enter into an agreement with the Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, or the United States
concentration camps with Gestapos.
Border Patrol to allow a facility to be built for the processing, detention,
concentration camp,
and coordination of the largest deportation of violent criminals in the nation's history.
Well, why don't you start with his cabinet?
You just did the most acid I've ever seen anybody eat in my life.
We're not talking criminals here, right? We're talking workplace raids. Yeah, that's right. Because how many criminals are there and how many have it tattooed on their forehead? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Workplace raids. Your tío and tía and abuelita are going to either be separated or deported or thrown into a concentration camp. That's right. Latinos for Trump.
Last year, my office was able to survey several islands in the Rio Grande River and declare them part of the state of Texas, permitting law enforcement to end all human trafficking and drug smuggling operations.
Okay, stop. So you're concerned about human trafficking, right? And yet Stinky wanted to make Matt Gaetz, right, an alleged human trafficker, as the Attorney General. How hypocritical of you! Bald, aggrieved, pathetic slobs. Both of them. That's right. Muttley's bald-headed brother. Continue.
You know, Tom Homan, you got a very, very powerful weapon that the Democrats, when they're in power, use against Republican administrations, state and local, all the time. Federal funding. If you have a governor who says, I'm not going to cooperate, I'm going to block you, well then, federal funds should be slashed to that state. And I mean...
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Well, how about this? How about California cuts off all those red states? How about that? How about that?
So the people of that state understand that the governor is the responsible party, that the mayor is the responsible party. They can beat their chest with being sanctuary cities.
Wah!
They want they're part of the United States, whether they like it or not.
Wah!
This is a federal issue. Even the governor of Texas, he's the one trying to enforce federal law against the Biden administration. That won't. But these states...
Hey, wait. Didn't we have a comprehensive border bill? What happened? This shit's all performative. Look at fucking Muttley.
Much like the Confederacy, they want to go on their own. They want to do their own thing. To me, you've got a powerful weapon, among others, which is, okay, no federal funds.
Yeah, right. We are so going to jam this up in court.
Last thoughts.
This degenerate slob, this mouth-breathing sack of shit, says that you are considered illegal. You're considered a criminal. This is what he considers a criminal. Somebody that's here, undocumented, that is working as well. Yeah, that's right. And he's going to try to separate.
And I'm sick and tired of hearing about the family separation. And I'm still being sued over that, so come get me. I don't give a shit, right?
There you go. You see that? You see that? There you go, right there. Hey, fuck you. Fuck you, fat ass. I can twist this dude into such a pretzel. Bro, I got news for you. Don't scurry too far from down the street, all right? Don't come down my block. I see your ass waddling down the sidewalk. It's gonna be game on.
We enforce the law. American families come out the top in New York.
What law? What law?
When I arrest a father for domestic violence or someone for DUI, I separate that family. When you violate the law with a child, you're going to be separated. But you're right. 250,000 children have crossed this border since Joe Biden's been president. They chose to separate themselves. And
See, in one breath he says, I feel bad for those children that got separated. And in another breath he says, oh yeah, they separated themselves. Well. Let me give you guys let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed of the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they, repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, shall say within themselves, this was he, that paisa, that one that was doing the field work, the one that was serving me at the restaurant and shit, that was he, whom we had sometimes in derision, a proverb of reproach, that illegal alien. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor, just the same as Abel was looked upon by Cain. Abel was nothing to him, because Cain was a hunter. Abel was just a man trying to harvest. It's the same spirit, it's the same anger, it's the same hate. But the beautiful thing is that we fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot is amongst the saints? His lot, because it still pertains to Abraham. For a long time, we were told things that we felt were true. For a long time. Let me show you something real quick, family.
El 13 de agosto de 1920.
I want to play this video for y'all. Give me a second.
El 13 de agosto de 1923.
Here it goes. Let me play this video. Because in case you guys don't know, this did happen. This was true. We were not allowed to progress. After 1917, y'all can look it up. And you want to know why I know? Because for a long time, we were not allowed to read or write. There was no printing of any type of sort of, even Bible in the 1900s. I'm talking about 1909, 1900, 1901, 1902. The Bible was not allowed to be printed in any language of ours, Spanish, dialect, or anything. So now let's listen to this. This is historical facts. Some people say it's myth. I don't believe it. I think these are facts. Because it shows now exactly what's going on.
El 13 de agosto de 1923, en un antiguo edificio de la calle de Bucareli, en la Ciudad de México, fue firmado el Tratado de Bucareli entre los Estados Unidos y México durante el gobierno de Álvaro Obregón, que, según los rumores, fue clasificado como confidencial por un periodo de 100 años. Y si somos observadores, notaremos que es un plazo que ya terminó, por lo que ahora debería ser público y accesible para todos. Debido a su aparente secrecía, los tratados de Bucareli han dado paso a leyendas urbanas que tratan de explicar el atraso de México y su alta dependencia hacia los Estados Unidos. Algunos dicen que con el acuerdo se prohibía que los mexicanos desarrollaran su propia tecnología, maquinaria, aeronaves, vehículos y demás por un siglo. Otros aseguran que entregó los recursos petroleros del país a los extranjeros, y unos más dicen que solo son un mito político para distraer a las personas, no más real que la Llorona o la planchada. La página oficial del Gobierno de México dice al respecto del Tratado de Bucareli, curiosamente actualizada en el centenario de la supuesta firma, que en efecto existió y que a través de él se concedió reparar el daño provocado a todas las propiedades estadounidenses en México durante la Revolución, indemnizar a los ciudadanos de aquel país que resultaron afectados y, más importante, se acordó que las petroleras estadounidenses eran legalmente las dueñas del petróleo de México, ya que Porfirio Díaz se los entregó de manera constitucional. A cambio, el entonces presidente Álvaro Obregón sería reconocido como tal por los Estados Unidos, una autoridad que el tío Sam se adjudicó y que no le correspondía, pero que era necesaria si México quería seguir contando con el dinero y las inversiones estadounidenses. Lo que nadie dice es que este tratado está publicado en el Diario Oficial de la Federación desde el 26 de febrero de 1924 y cualquiera lo puede consultar, por lo que nunca fue ni confidencial, ni secreto, ni se trató de ocultar, ni tampoco indican ningún impedimento para que México desarrolle tecnología, sencillamente indica los pagos a las empresas estadounidenses y su pertenencia del petróleo mexicano. De todas maneras, el tratado careció de validez legal, porque nunca fue aprobado por los congresos de los dos países, convirtiéndose en un acuerdo de palabra que comprometía únicamente a Obregón, pero no a sus sucesores. El fin del tratado se dio en 1926, cuando Obregón había desalojado la silla y su puesto era ocupado por Plutarco Elías Calles, quien promulgó una nueva ley que cancelaba los permisos de las compañías petroleras estadounidenses. Por otro lado, hay quien no se puede explicar el desinterés del gobierno mexicano en desarrollar tecnología y el abandono a su suerte de los científicos nacionales, por lo que, para justificarlo, mencionan que, de seguro, hay un apartado de los tratados de Bucareli que nunca se dio a conocer y permaneció oculto durante los 100 años, pero, como mencioné antes, este plazo ya venció y no apareció ningún documento, descubriéndose que el tratado no fue más que un conejillo de indias para cubrir la incompetencia de las autoridades para fomentar el talento nacional.
So they say. Listen, sometimes you have to really understand why things don't move the way they should move. It's not, what is it, that we were always stupid and all of a sudden we became smart? No. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on, give me a second. Let me look for this link here real quick. Let me see if I have it here. Hold on. Let's see. A second. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me just continue to go with my notes, because if I kind of get away from it, then all of a sudden I get lost. Let's go to 2 Ezra 15 and 10. All right. It says here, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plagues and punishment that God shall bring upon them. So this is, remember, it happened before. I mean, remember, this is in 2 Ezra. This is not Egypt, the old Egypt. It's a different Egypt. And it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and the sword in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. And they shall not regard their kings nor prince, and the course of their actions shall not stand in their power. Now, we've seen some actions over there in South Korea about the whole martial law. Now they're trying to get rid of that president. We're seeing chaos, not just in America. We're talking about everywhere. You see, when certain people brought this verse out, they're like, oh, it's America, it's happening here. You guys are so micro dumb. You just think it's just your little neighborhood. It's just America. It's just the 50 states. Man, it's beyond that shit. But sometimes those things that you call war gets in the way. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is future tense. This is actually going to come about. Behold, God said, or said God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, the east, from Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and to repay the things that they have done to them, meaning his children. Now, there is a scripture in, I believe it's Sirach 37, I think. Let me see. Hold on a second. Here, now, let me see. Let me find it. Hold on. There be spirits. Give me a second. Sirach 39:28 says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. And in the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. You see that? And what did we read in Second Ezra? Verse 20. It says, behold, Scott said, God, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising sun of the sun from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another, and to repay the things that they have done to them. So he can put spirits in their own minds to go destroy each other. That's crazy, man. I don't want to be on that side. Me personally, I don't. Let me see. Let me read that Second Chronicles 7:14. Let me see what you got. Second Chronicles 7:14 reads, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my faith and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. You know, the land concept is technically the physical land, but it's also like the spiritual land of ourselves. He will cleanse everything about us. Nah, they're stupid. Not at all, bro. Verse 21. Let me go back to Second Ezra real quick. I'll show you why. 15:21, it says, I will, where you at? Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord God. Listen, man, look how evil they are. I'll show you how evil they are. I mean, how far are you going to go? Seriously, man. I'm going to show you this real quick, and I'm going to play that video with Carelli because I think it's important for you guys to see. Okay? This is why they want to go this far. They're afraid of who you are. The Trump administration next target is naturalized U.S. citizens. It appears that President-elect Donald Trump intends to keep his campaign promise to begin deporting at least 50 million people who he claims have been poisoning the blood by at least one estimate. It is virtually impossible. Whatever. Poisoning the blood, huh? We're savages. Right?
Elect Trump's campaign promise of mass deportations is beginning to take shape with the appointments of Kristi Noem to head the Department of Homeland Security and Tom Homan as border czar. Now the question is, what steps will the administration be willing to take on Trump's border and immigration policy? Joining me now is the Hill staff writer, Rafael Bernal. Rafael, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So Trump recirculated a social media post suggesting that his administration would declare a national emergency and use the military to support his mass deportation promise. Break down here what that actually means.
Well, we don't know what it means technically, but we do know it is his top campaign pledge to his base. If a lot of Americans voted for him for the economy, we know that his strongest supporters voted for him for this pledge of mass deportations, for managing.
Well, I know about the mass deportation. That's not what I was playing this for. It says that next he's trying to target naturalized citizens because we're poisoning the blood. One initiative in a smaller in scale, but potentially devastating in impact, will be aimed at immigrants who have become naturalized U.S. citizens. That's me. Trump has named 3 deportation hardliners to key positions in administrations, including Stephen Miller, the fake Jew, the Khazar convert, who claims to be a Jew when he's not. But, you know, you can tell that he's not because of the wicked way that he is. Man, you keep practicing the Talmud, Mr. fucking Stephen Miller, because one day I'm going to see your ass spiritually, and then I'm going to kick your ass. Well, shit, we can do it on the flesh, too. Kristi Noem for Secretary of Homeland Security, and Tom Holmes as a border czar, the wicked-ass man, the wicked-ass demon as well. I care about kids. Those kids chose to be against their family. Fucking idiot. Miller is likely to be especially influenced and especially brutal. America is for Americans only. You know, it's funny that he's probably the same one that's crying to the fucking Holocaust movies every year that they watch over there in the little hitzpah, their fake-ass celebrations. You know damn well those guys aren't too. Stop lying, man. Prove it that you guys are. Do it through DNA or do it through history. Don't do it through mechanical political access. America is for Americans only. Let that sink in, gente. A fucking fake-ass Jew telling you to get the hell out of your own continent. You don't belong here. And he's calling you an illegal alien. Like I said before, when you say that to that word or wetbag, that's like calling a black person a NGR. I don't want to say that shit. I said it earlier just to make it emphasis of it. Shit is disgusting when you talk to people like that. I could see if you just grow up with them and maybe it comes out of you, whatever. But when you're trying to say it in a hateful fucking manner, man, you're just a nasty ass people. But even documented immigrants will not be safe because Miller, the fake Jew, has declared that he will pursue the seldom used process of denaturalization to go after people who have been citizens for years or decades, like myself, based on suspicion about perpetual fraud or their naturalization application. So, like, for example, if he hates me, he'll find a way to fucking deport me. Individuals stripped of this citizenship will then be subject to deportation along with Miller's other targets. Now, you find funny that people like him, like the Jews, so-called Israelis, they're natural U.S. citizens. How the fuck does that even work? Not every discrepancy or inconsistency is evidence of fraud. Of course, so is it inevitable that some legitimate citizens or those who made minor mistakes based on confusion may be caught up in a overzealous investigation. The process of invalidating naturalization was created by statute in 1906, providing that citizenship may be canceled if it was obtained through false statement or fraudulent omission. It was used inconsistently in the 20th century. What do you need? With periods of intense activity during the World Wars and Cold Wars, and often less in parlous times. You see that? So I can be deported too. I don't get away from it either. So if I would have, let's say, if I was pro-Trump, let's say I'm pro-Trump, you know what I'm saying? I'm pro-Trump. Let's say I was stupid like that, right? And I'm reading this fucking article right now. My ass is fucking scared. You see what I'm saying? You see how stupid you guys are? You second generation dumbasses. Well, as a matter of fact, no. First generation U.S. citizens claim to be fucking white people or black, whatever you want to be. You know what I mean? Because that's really about America, white and black. Isn't it America, what you said? Isn't that what you said? So-called African Americans, that it's a black and white thing, that us, foreigners should stay out of it. Your little voting booths. Isn't that what you guys said? Isn't that what you said, Democrats? Democrats sound as racist as red caps. I want you guys to be aware of that. I want you guys to be aware that black African American Democrats are being as racist as the red caps that support Donald Trump. And I got videos to prove it. Let me continue reading. By the early 21st century, denaturalization was mainly sought for accused terrorists, war criminals, and human rights violators who had concealed their backgrounds on their visas and citizenship applications. During the Obama administration, for example, a successful denaturalization case was initiated against, Look who it was. And then you wonder why? A so-called African American man denaturalized another person, Brasmea Odi. You guys can look up that person who had concealed her previous conviction of supermarket bombing in Israel that had killed 2 university students. Interesting, huh? Operation Second Look, that's basically what they're going to be targeting. So once again, if I was like, let's say pro-Trump and I had been voting hardcore, like, I'm super Trump. Here, I'll give you guys the article. If I had voted super Trump and shit, guess what? Oh my God, this is amazing. You know, it's amazing, man. Let me show you these real quick before I play you that Bucareli video, because that's going to go a little longer. Matter of fact, let me let it play, and then I'll play you guys the next one. Let's go.
Los tratados de Bucareli y dijo:
No hay vigente ningún tratado con esas características.
A 100 años de la firma de los tratados, tal vez sea buena hora de asumir que México es responsable de su propia falta de innovación.
So, as you know, that there's part truth and part lie to things. Be mindful of that. I mean, how convenient is it for them to be saying, like, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't anything to their fault. Really, all of a sudden, we just became smart?
Recuerda,
I mean, like, we
always
were allowed to read
pero si lo ves por lo que puede ser, alcanzará su máximo potencial. Por eso.
Damn, man, don't stop. We were just allowed to read and write anytime, any day? No, we were not. But see, when you're just doing, videos to make money and you're not trying to educate people, then yeah, you sound stupid. Let's continue.
Máxima, si tú ves a alguien por lo que es, solo puede empeorar. Pero si lo ves por lo que puede ser, alcanzará su máximo potencial. Por eso dije, si se llega a dar el caso, cargas a andar al burro. Si lo necesitáramos, lo haríamos. Sobreviviríamos, viviríamos, lograríamos éxito sin Estados Unidos.
Yo no lo dudo.
La fragilidad de la economía de Estados Unidos no puede sobrevivir sin los mexicanos. Recuerda la máxima, si tú ves a alguien por lo que es, solo puede empeorar. Pero si lo ves por lo que puede ser, alcanzará su máximo potencial. Por eso dije, si se llega a dar el caso, cargas a andar al burro. Si lo necesitáramos, lo haríamos. Sobreviviríamos, viviríamos, lograríamos. Ya escuchaste ese chisme de que Estados Unidos quiere invadir a México. Te voy a dar 3 motivos por los que esto no se puede. Sobre todo el último. 1. El único motivo por el que Estados Unidos se sale con la suya en su bullying internacional es porque se mete siempre con gente desconocida. Para la mentalidad de los humanos, esos países están muy lejos. Quién sabe cómo sean. Quizás sea cierto. No sé, está muy lejos para que me importe. ¿Está mal? Está súper mal, por supuesto. Pero checa, para que los medios de comunicación pudieran justificar la hipocresía de la que Estados Unidos denuncia a Rusia, fue exaltando las virtudes, las cualidades de los ucranianos y demonizando y exagerando los problemas que tienen los iraníes, los libaneses, los afganos, los talibanes, whatever. O sea, si se meten pedos con México, cabrón, que todo el mundo conoce, que todo el mundo ama, güey, sería así de, güey, con la gente de los tacos originales, no, cabrón. Estados Unidos, a todo el mundo le caemos muchísimo mejor que ustedes.
He's got a point. I want to show you this real quick. President of Mexico makes a very interesting statement. And you guys that are familiar with the himno nacional, you would know what she's talking about.
En caso de...
Pay attention to this real quick. So remember, in the himno nacional de México dice, mexicanos al grito de guerra. Mexicanos al grito de guerra. Okay, remember that.
De que Estados Unidos invada México, tenemos nuestro himno nacional, palabras de la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum.
¿Qué va a ocurrir? Va a haber buena relación con el presidente Trump.
En la última llamada que tuvimos hablamos de la colaboración con respecto a nuestras soberanías y él estuvo de acuerdo. Me preguntó que en qué se podría colaborar. Dije pues que ya habría tiempo para trabajar en varios temas, pero en particular en inteligencia e investigación lo hace la Fiscalía con respecto a las soberanías, lo hace las fuerzas de seguridad y así va a ser. No va a haber una invasión. Eso no es un escenario que tengamos en mente. Y de todas maneras tenemos nuestro himno nacional.
Déjenme los comentarios qué piensan. Gracias por ver.
Escenario que tengamos en mente. Y de todas maneras tenemos nuestro himno nacional.
In case you guys know what that means, the himno nacional says Mexicanos el grito de guerra. That means that if anybody invades that land, that everybody's going to go to war, not just the military. That's what she meant. Those are fucking threats. In case you guys didn't catch it, that's what she said. You invade, we go to war, for lack of better words. But I don't know if if the people understood that or it emphasizes, but that's a really strong statement. Revelation 11:10 says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and shall make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Now, I don't know if this is correct, but I find it so interesting to me. To me, it's very interesting that people from another realm, another section, have been attacked as much or as bad as we have. And you know, like I've said before, we're scattered, and I only focus on, you know, the church on this side, right? But at the same time, I don't want to exclude certain people. I think you need to pay more attention to what's going on. I'm not excluding anybody, and I don't preference any particular type. But when you fit the scripture and shit's going on, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You got to pay attention. You can't try to fit the scripture if that shit ain't happening to you. You can try to act like you can try to get in front of the shit, like, oh, look, I'm part of the curses, huh? You can try to like paint yourself as part of the people that, you know, when you're dead and they spray the body shape, you can try to lay there and have your friend spray another body and say that was you, but that shit ain't you. Sorry to hate. This ain't hate, bro. It's a facts. Listen.
Usted de alguna manera anticipó la victoria de Trump en los Estados Unidos.
Listen to how this brother says that the way that they look at us, they look at certain people. And the way that they attack them is how they're attacking us. Wake up, my Hebrew brothers. Let's go.
¿Cuáles fueron las claves de esa victoria?
Bueno, yo realmente las claves fueron dos. Una demográfica y otra la caída del modelo neoliberal global y que afectó sobre todo a Estados Unidos en su clase media. Y son los que se volcaron por Donald Trump. Los blancos, WASP, White Anglo-Saxon Protestant, que constituyen del 64 al 68% de la población. Entonces hay una revolución demográfica real porque los blancos saben que ya van a ser minoría en los próximos 20 años, donde el mayor segmento poblacional va a ser el mexicano.
¿Por qué pudo utilizar este tema del muro fronterizo o la continuación del muro fronterizo como lema de campaña?
Bueno, porque eso, sin duda alguna, es que aquí hay dos visiones. La de los mexicanos, que obviamente es ignominioso la construcción de un muro, que la inicia Baby Bush, que eso se olvida. La tercera parte del muro ya fue construida. Les costó $3.500 millones y fue aprobado el muro por la entonces senadora por Nueva York llamada Hillary Clinton, ante las narices de Fox y Calderón. Lo que pasa es que ellos brincaron contra Trump porque ellos son instrumentos de George Soros en México. Eso no es ningún secreto. George Soros controla México. Era el vicepresidente, era el presidente oculto de nuestro país. Y obviamente esto se viene abajo. Entonces, el muro a nosotros nos ofende, pero ya está construido en la tercera parte, sobre todo en las zonas de mayor densidad poblacional de mexicanos. Si uno ve bien el border fence, que ellos lo sacan, ahí está la imagen. No se trata. Lo que pasa es que México está muy desinformado. Los ciudadanos no saben.
¿Le llama la atención de que el potencial construcción o finalización de ese muro haya sido asignado a una empresa israelí?
Sí, bueno, a mí no me llama la atención porque están ligados a Netanyahu, una empresa estatal israelí, que es pero además son los especialistas en muros. Ahora, esto desde el punto de vista mercadológico de la ingeniería electorera, a Trump le benefició, a nosotros nos dañó, pero a Trump le benefició porque detectó el nicho electoral que es anti-NAFTA, anti-TLCAN, antimigratorio, porque son supremacistas, racistas, blancos, los que tienen el mayor número de armas per cápita del planeta, que son muy violentos, que eso no hay que olvidarlo, y que, pues naturalmente, ese fue y a ellos les fascina lo del NAFTA. Es decir, era un eslogan mercadológico, publicitario, para captar votos, y lo consiguió. Y nosotros no entendimos esa jugada de México. Bueno, con todo el respeto, pero yo me exceptúo. Pero ahí está el Senado de la República, poniéndose camisetas pro Hillary. Lo único que están haciendo, y lo digo con mucha responsabilidad, es que están alebrestando a estos racistas.
And what was Hillary saying in that earlier video? Okay, you guys saw this, right? You see, this is why you need to be mindful. This is why it's important to pay attention.
This video just resurfaced, and it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable.
This is what
It's just
Hillary said here. She said this. And you cannot lie. And they're wearing the shirt.
Video just resurfaced, and it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable. It's just a puppet show.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line.
This video just resurfaced, and it's making the Democrats feel uncomfortable. It's just a puppet show.
I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No.
It's all casual, huh? How casual. But you have these same idiots, same supporters of this so-called blue cap over here, pushing for Hillary. You see, family? See what I mean?
Lo único que están haciendo, y lo digo con mucha responsabilidad, es que están alebrestando a estos racistas, supremacistas blancos de Estados Unidos, y se puede venir un backlash, donde podemos ver a mexicanos perseguidos. E incluso esta Mariana Gómez del Campo, que es prima del presidente, del que fue presidente Calderón, yo si fuera ella no iría a Estados Unidos. Hay mucha violencia en estos momentos en Estados Unidos. Es un país fracturado, eso es real. Es un país dividido, es un país que vive una guerra larvada, una guerra civil larvada que no se atreve a decir su nombre.
Pero entonces cada vez más la realidad estadounidense-mexicana se parece más a la israelí-palestina.
Totalmente. Y aquí hay que ver los escritos de Netanyahu, 20 años atrás. Yo recuerdo una ocasión cuando llegó a Dallas Netanyahu, algunos sectores de judíos o israelíes, yo no uso la palabra judío porque no sé qué quiera decir, porque se yuxtapone con tres definiciones: la religiosa, la étnica y la ciudadana. Entonces yo ya me perdí. Entonces yo ya uso lo israelí. Incluso cuando dicen antisemita, bueno, ok, para que exista un antisemita se requiere la existencia de un semita. Yo soy semita, por ejemplo. Yo soy 4 veces semita. 4 veces.
¿Cómo sería eso?
Étnico, lingüístico, religioso y cultural.
¿Usted de ascendencia libanesa?
Y bueno, soy de origen libanés y me enorgullezco. Pero también sé que es una minoría y cómo sufrimos las minorías en el Medio Oriente. Yo lo he vivido. Entonces, Netanyahu hay que seguirlo. Y hoy más que nunca porque es uno de los grandes vencedores con Netanyahu, con Trump. Incluso Sheldon Adelson, que es el jefe de la mafia de los casinos en Estados Unidos, que es un criminal sionista, lo digo abiertamente, él apoyó a Trump y es íntimo de Netanyahu. Entonces, cuando llegó Netanyahu a Dallas, Texas, que había un grupo de judíos o israelíes, no sé cómo se diga ya eso, le decían, oye, ¿por qué persigues tanto a los palestinos? Y les dice, los palestinos son para nosotros los israelíes lo que los mexicanos son para ustedes en Estados Unidos. Entonces yo veo la palestinización de los mexicanos en Estados Unidos.
That's why I was reading Revelation 11 and 10, talked about the two prophets. Why do they hate both of us so much like that? You know, the so-called fake Jew. Or the so-called Jew, convert Khazar, I should say it that way. Let me get that. Psalms 9 and 16 says, the Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand. Higaim Salah. Very good scripture, bro. That shit is true. Let's continue.
Con todos los componentes.
¿Cómo?
Con todos los componentes, porque primero Estados Unidos le roba el territorio a México, después le termina de construir un muro, después los ataques xenófobos y racistas por un componente étnico y religioso también. ¿Qué falta?
Bueno, falta el último capítulo. Vamos a empezar a ver, hay que tenerlo en el escenario, una gran discriminación sobre los mexicanos. Eso a mí me queda muy claro. Y Estados Unidos, porque aquí la pureza blanca del WASP del racismo, supremacismo, es igual que la pureza inventada de los nuevos judíos del siglo XXI, que ni son semitas. Lo digo con responsabilidad. Hoy uno llega a Tel Aviv y el 25% habla ruso. Son de origen házaro. Los házaros, lo digo también con definiciones puntuales, son mongoles centroasiáticos, no son semitas. Los sefarditas Mizrashim sí son semitas, eso sí, son nuestros primos hermanos, pero hoy gobierna en Israel los házaros. Ese es Lieberman, ese es Netanyahu. Bueno, el padre de Netanyahu de ahí nace el sionismo con Jabotinsky.
¿De qué manera puede afectar esto en la actualidad política mexicana?
Pues México es el gran perdedor, me duele decirlo, porque Trump es antiglobalización. Es aislacionista, proteccionista, y ya vimos desde su primer discurso del triunfo, se va sobre la manufactura. Y la manufactura va a ser de $1 trillón de inversiones, es decir, 1 millón de millones en español, que van a reconstruir puentes, van a construir carreteras, es decir, el sistema ferroviario. Estados Unidos no tiene infraestructura. La abandonó.
You hear what he said? They have no infrastructure of manufacturing or production of any sort. He's going to talk about it deeper now. Check it out.
Se consagró a la especulación financierista de Wall Street, que son los grandes perdedores. Esto sí le afecta mucho a México porque México entró al esquema que nunca lo votamos los ciudadanos mexicanos. Eso es importante. Yo diría a partir de la Madrid, pero lo implementa Salinas y todos los presidentes que han llegado al país y se han basado en una maquila, el outsourcing manufacturero, que es el gran perdedor en México. Porque lo que va a hacer Trump, nos guste o disguste, es pues darle empleo manufacturero en Estados Unidos a los rednecks.
En medio de esta catástrofe política para México, ¿no puede ser un buen momento para repensarse a sí mismos y cuál es el lugar geopolítico que quieren ocupar?
Bueno, yo primero que nada he estado proponiendo, tenemos que preocuparnos por nuestros migrantes en Estados Unidos. Pero no solamente los migrantes, los 11 millones que dicen que son indocumentados. No olvidar que los mexicanos votaron masivamente en favor de Obama, y Obama es quien más ha deportado mexicanos en la historia de Estados Unidos. Lo que pasa es que en México hay mucha desinformación. Como todo lo controla Soros y Televisa, pues hablan solos, ya son soliloquios. En México no hay debate, hay linchamiento. Y aquí, pues, obviamente, se la avienta uno toda la jauría. Pues, yo, por ejemplo, me he podido resguardar, porque tengo Hispan TV, Russia Today, a los chinos, a los franceses, Réseau Voltaire, incluso a Fox News, CNN. He tenido un margen de maniobra. En México no lo tengo. En México a mí me han linchado, me graban, encañonaron a mi esposa. México es un país muy dictatorial a nivel mediático. Entonces, aquí lo que tenemos que ver es, primero que nada, la creación de un ministerio de migración con enfoque de seguridad nacional bilateral. Porque no solamente peligran los 11 millones de mexicanos indocumentados, sino quizás, si no se saben proteger, los casi 30 millones de mexicanos que tenemos en Estados Unidos. Y lo digo con mucha responsabilidad. No olvidemos que Estados Unidos tiene una cultura bélica, doméstica y foránea. Tenemos que conocer la psicología de los pueblos. El supremacista blanco que sigue a Trump venera la segunda enmienda de la Constitución de Estados Unidos, que es el porte de armas. Por eso el National Rifle Association, o la Asociación Nacional del Rifle, es todopoderosa, sobre todo en el Partido Republicano, y más con Trump.
Se respaldan en eso.
Entonces se respaldan en eso, y además tienen la cultura bélica. El pobre mexicano no tiene cultura balística, y además cada redneck trae 2, 3 ametralladoras. Lo digo con mucha responsabilidad. Lo que hicieron los senadores en el Congreso, encabezados por Emilio Gamboa Patrón, que es el líder del Senado, y por una cosa que se llama Jorge Lozano, y otro Zoe Robledo, y la Mariana Gómez del Campo, no solamente es frivolidad y irresponsabilidad y desconocimiento de la historia de Estados Unidos, peor aún, están incitando a la violencia blanca, del supremacismo blanco en Estados Unidos, y han puesto en alto riesgo a los 27 o casi 30 millones de mexicanos allende la frontera.
¿Usted cree que puede haber un regreso masivo de mexicanos?
Mira, yo tengo que tener en el radar todos los escenarios. Ya vi Netanyahu cómo opera, y así va a operar Trump. No hay que hacerse ilusiones, ¿eh? ¿Qué hemos visto en Palestina desde 1948? Estamos hablando de 68 años. Obviamente, quizás no se da en un día o en 2, eso no ocurre así, pero sí se va a dar en forma crónica. No va a ser quizás agudo, en algunos centros más, en otros menos, mucho va a depender. Pero sí vamos a asistir a una política idéntica a la de Netanyahu, que lleva 68 años, obviamente no con Netanyahu, independiente que hayan llegado los laboristas o el Likud, de despoblación de Israel, de los palestinos originarios. Y lo mismo puede suceder en Estados Unidos. Yo no estoy diciendo que vaya a suceder, Yo soy un agente responsable y analista. Tengo la obligación de tenerlo en el radar. Y pongo, cuidado con este escenario. Pónganse alertas porque nos puede suceder. Bueno, pero además voy a decir algo. Nosotros los mexicanos tampoco tratamos muy bien a los migrantes centroamericanos, ¿eh? Es decir, nosotros no podemos estar dando lecciones en el Senado, de cómo maltratan a los mexicanos. Nosotros tenemos que, como analista que yo soy, tengo que impugnar el maltrato de nuestros hermanos mexicanos en Estados Unidos, pero también el maltrato de los centroamericanos en la frontera mexicana con Guatemala.
Es interesante, doctor, porque siempre se habla en México, y sobre todo actualmente, de que el principal ingreso sigue siendo las remesas.
No, no es el segundo oficial. El primero es el síndrome del Chapo. Es lo que más deja, el narcotráfico. Que eso es el producto del Tratado de Libre Comercio. Quizás hasta beneficie, por ahí podemos ver algo que quizás amaine. Yo incluso cuando lanzaron el TLC por Salinas, recuerdo perfecto que le llamé el TLC bis.
¿Cómo sería?
Tratado de Libre Cocaína. Es decir, yo ya veía el gran negocio de Soros y de los Rothschild, que es el tráfico de armas y de drogas. No es ningún secreto. ¿Quién está detrás de la legalización de las drogas en el mundo? George Soros. Es muy claro esto. Lo que pasa es que la gente no lo quiere ver. Entonces ahí quizás este muro, por lo menos, uno de los resguardos, hay que ver, es que hay que analizar. Hoy un análisis pulcro tiene que ser de varios niveles. Tiene que ser local, regional y global.
And you know what's so funny? He said the same thing I've been saying. In order for you to understand this world, you have to know the Bible, history, and politics. You have to understand those things. They're actually in the book. Anyways, listen, fam, I got one more video to show you, and then we're done. That's pretty much it. I was already dedicated for another 15 more minutes, and that's it. So let me remind you guys of this conversation, because he's saying a lot in regards to how they're going to start looking at you and how they're going to start expressing themselves. Very similar to how they express themselves with the brethren in Palestine. Listen.
This interview is going to make you feel like you're going back in time. Well, let's go.
So you want to live in a white-only country?
Not necessarily white-only, but a country that is clearly based on a European model in which whites will basically remain the overwhelming majority in perpetuity.
Okay, how do you achieve that?
Well, that's an excellent question. Donald Trump has got some first good steps in mind. He wants to make sure no more illegal immigrants come into the country, and he wants to make sure that all illegal immigrants here go back. He wants to end birthright citizenship. He wants to put at least a temporary ban on Muslim immigration.
What happens with Asians? What happens with African Americans? What happens with Latinos?
What happens to my
You presented me with a very limited view of the United States.
You're saying the United States is a place anybody can come and turn it into anything you want, and the people who built this country and established its institutions, if they glimmer away, so what? You are promoting a process that will reduce my people to a minority. You want more power for Latinos. That comes at the expense of my people's power.
We're 17% of the population,
right,
and we only have 3 senators. So therefore, we don't have the political representation that we deserve.
And you want more and more?
Of course, because we only have 3 senators.
How much political?
At this point, 14 senators.
And 50 years from now, how many would you like?
Let's talk about 50 years from now. In 2044,
yes,
white, non-Hispanics will become a minority.
Yes.
Is that what you're afraid of?
Mr. Ramos, it's fantastic for you, for my people to lose power and become a minority. That's fantastic for you. How does it feel for me?
Because it is our country, Mr. Taylor.
Country.
It is our country. Don't you think we both have the same rights in this country?
I think that despite this nonsense in the Declaration about anybody being anyone, white people,
you don't think we are all created equal?
No. What you want to do is change this country into an entire nation in which white people become refugees in their own land,
so
if your vision comes through.
You don't want to live alongside Mexicans?
Now, why is it wrong for me not to want my neighborhood to change? If my neighborhood is European, if my neighborhood they don't keep chickens in the backyard that crow at 3 in the morning.
What are you talking about? That's a complete stereotype. That's a complete stereotype.
Yes, and stereotypes are all true.
It's a racist stereotype what you're saying.
Oh, racist! Give me a break.
No.
What are you going to do with the thousands of Muslims?
We certainly
American citizens who are serving in the military.
I'm sure that we just couldn't possibly survive with all those Muslim Navy Rangers. Yes, I'm sure that's true.
That is not right.
No, I'm talking about
You cannot make fun of people who are saving our lives.
They want special holidays and special foods.
So if you don't like their religion, you don't have to join them. That's fine.
No, they are.
But you can't discriminate against them simply because you.
Of course, anyone should have the right to discriminate against anyone he wishes. And the point is,
but not by the law, Mr. Taylor. You can't do that.
I think the law is absolutely incorrect.
Do you feel that whites are superior? They're more intelligent than blacks?
I think, on average, whites are more intelligent than blacks, and North Asians are more intelligent than whites.
How can you say that?
How can you think otherwise?
Mr. Taylor,
what evidence would you have to think that a pygmy is, on average, is just as intelligent as a Dane? Why would you think that? It's completely consistent with the assumption that black Africans are less intelligent on average than Asians or Caucasians.
That's absurd. That's repugnant and absurd.
Why would you even entertain the possibility that on average a pygmy is as intelligent as a Japanese?
The comparison that you are trying to make, it is simply impossible because of historical circumstances, because economic conditions, because of the moment.
We have to be willing to say to all those who are non-European, we wish you well, but this territory is for us. And sorry, we have the right to be us, and only we can be us.
Our tribal ape instincts still continue to have an influence on how we exist in society when it comes to our...
So check it out, family. I want to remind you of how you see what I'm saying, and I love the fact, and that's why I mean, in my channel, I don't lie. I never lied. I told you how racist some people could be, and don't be surprised because they are fucking so-called African American that they're going to be any nicer to you. No, let's listen to some racist African American shit here. Look, matter of fact, I'll show you something. Look at the comments on this fucking board. It's just disgusting, bro. Look. We don't need a nice guy. We need an enforcer. I'm happy as hell I voted for Trump. America, we are getting our balls back. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me, damn right. Hundreds of retired military police and are volunteering to help. Thank you, fellow Americans. Mommy said, don't worry, we won't break up families. Kids will be leaving with them. Trust. Look at how many thumbs up. Look how many people timestamp laughing. You don't play. You know what I'm saying? But we just listened to a racist black man that as soon as he deports us, so if that happened, he's going to deport your black asses out of here too. So you laughing now. Let's listen to some of the laughter. Because I can't wait for you to be deported. Because when I'm in Mexico chilling in my hometown and shit, man, I'm going to be like, what land of Africa are you going to be sent to?
Check this out here.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
So I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there's. Families can be deported together.
He is not playing.
Because overnight, while you were sleeping, he tapped Tom Homan to be his...
Look, I'll keep you together. Make sure you're not broken up.
Better at policing and controlling our borders. Likewise, Tom Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens back to their country of origin.
You work with the president to...
And that word illegal alien is basically calling a black man or a black woman like a nigger. And I said it before and I didn't want to say it again. But you know what? At this point, I want to remind you guys how fucking offensive that word is. There's no different than wetback. But now we have black folks over here being as racist. Matter of fact, this is what I'm bothered by. White folks on the left side are not this racist. And we're seeing a bunch of black folks just being racist as fuck with this shit. Even though we got a white man that says as soon as we deport these Mexicans, we're going to deport you guys to Africa too. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You do your thing.
Come up with this job description, so let's hear from him. In his first interview after the major announcement, incoming border czar, Tom Homan. Tom, congratulations to you. It's bad for us.
First major interview.
What went into the decision and the position?
What they need to do to fix it. So when the president asked me, would you come back and fix it? Of course I have to. I'd be happy if I didn't. So look, I'm honored the president asked me to come back and help solve this national security crisis. So I'm looking forward to it.
So he was on there beforehand.
I love the family there, but I think the calling is clear. I got to go back and help because every morning I get up. Every morning I'm pissed off about what this administration did to my security border.
You sound like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Every morning I get up, I'm pissed off.
Lifetime. So I can do what I can to fix it. I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention?
What I'm seeing is a black man that likes the fact that a white man can be that fucking racist and act on it and be okay. So I bet you this black man, if he had the power, he would be in the same fucking position, just like the books we've been reading in the past since 1492. That's why I keep telling y'all 1619 is a fucking joke. Transatlantic slave trade never happened. The whole fucking reparation bullshit, that's a bullshit story. These people have had power since the get-go. We see their actions and their words. Look how they're hiding on the shadow of racist white shit. because this white man can say it. This black man's feeling comfortable with it. You think that he was enslaved? No, man, they had slaves too since they got here. I know it hurts your feelings.
You want to know have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know have these issues because you have failed to secure
Who's that lady behind him? Why is she holding up that picture? Is that someone was murdered or hurt?
the border. You guys failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Holman, please respect the chair and the authority of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time. You let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Holman. He don't get to go beyond his time.
Mr. Holman, we have approved an agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member. We increased the time of one witness, one member of Congress.
Asian chick behind her look all uncomfortable.
Who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority.
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Holman!
You work for me. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer. You work for me.
The witness will suspend.
Hey.
I'm a taxpayer.
Who's the dude sitting next to him with the brush top?
I'm a taxpayer.
Let me ask you, let's see if somebody has the balls to come hit the link and explain to me how the fuck do you expect Hispanics to vote for your stupid ass Democratic bullshit, or believe in Christianity on the right side, or even assume that so-called black folks were ever on the Hispanic side or supporting our side at all. Somebody explain that to me. Any Christian, BHI, or whoever wants to support this shit. This is like Fopi shit right here. I bet you Fopi voted for Trump. I bet you Fopi voted for Trump all day, every day, bro. My channel has never stopped telling the truth that since these people got here, they both enjoyed slavery. So don't be surprised as to why they laugh at this shit like it's no big fucking joke. And then in the same breath, they want to ask for reparations. Let's reflect on what this gentleman over here is saying on the left side. Let's go back a little bit because apparently he ain't paying attention. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me play it and I'm going to find you a better one too.
The things that interest us. It's the knowledge that we have. It's what we can bring to society that is not our amount of melanin or what's underneath our clothing. This regressive mindset is destroying people. It's not allowing them to experience life to its fullest, and it's keeping them hating one another for things that cannot be changed about themselves. So this is one of those instances where I'm going to be intolerant. I am intolerant to intolerance. And I hope y'all are too.
It is for sure unfortunate that we have to give such people platforms to come and spew these racist or discriminatory comments about people, and they don't have to take accountability for it, especially as a white person, because tell me why this man is talking about how black people are literally dumb and docile. Like, we don't have any sense, you know. It's them that are on top of the chain, then Asians and then African people, like, yeah, these black people don't have any sense that they can never be better than us. And then you look into their countries of the West and you see that it's our ancestors, the African blood. And you person, attacked, we are too scared, but they have like majority
senators. So therefore, we don't have the political representation that we deserve.
And you want more and more?
Of course, because we only have 3 senators.
How much political?
At this point, 14 senators.
And 50 years from now, how many would you like?
Let's talk about 50 years from now. In 2044,
yes,
white, non-Hispanics will become a minority. Yes. Is that what you're afraid of?
Mr. Ramos, it's fantastic for you, for my people to lose power and become a minority. That's fantastic for you. How does it feel for me?
Because it is our country, Mr. Taylor.
Country.
It is our country. Don't you think we both have the same rights in this country?
I think that despite this nonsense in the Declaration about anybody being anyone, white people,
you don't think we are all created equal?
No. What you want to do is change this country into an entire nation in which white people will become refugees in their own land. So if your vision comes through.
You don't want to live alongside Mexicans.
Now, why is it wrong for me not to want my neighborhood to change? If my neighborhood is European, if my neighborhood they don't keep chickens in the backyard that crow at 3 in the morning.
What are you talking about? That's a complete stereotype. That's a complete stereotype.
Yes, and stereotypes are all true.
It's a racist stereotype what you're saying.
Oh, racist! Give me a break.
No.
What are you going to do with the thousands of Muslims
We certainly
American
don't.
citizens who are serving in the military.
I'm sure that we just couldn't possibly survive with all those Muslim Navy Rangers. Yes, I'm sure that's true.
That is not right.
No, I'm talking
You
about
cannot make
Muslim...
fun of people who are saving our lives.
They want special holidays and special food.
So if you don't like their religion, you don't have to join them. That's fine.
No, they are...
But you can't discriminate against them simply because you...
Of course, anyone should have the right to discriminate against anyone he wishes. And the point is...
But not by the law, Mr. Taylor. You can't do that.
I think the law is absolutely incorrect.
Do you feel that whites are superior? They're more intelligent than blacks?
I think, on average, whites are more intelligent than blacks, and North Asians are more intelligent than whites.
Okay, so since let's take this logic, because apparently these black folks that support these white people here, they you know, like they're laughing at us, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I should take this logic that you're just a fucking dumbass because you're black, because you believe the white people, and look how you suck up on their nutsack.
Yo, this dude is no nonsense. Yo.
I got another message.
He said you're going home.
Mexico.
Uh-oh.
You smuggled enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined.
Whoa.
And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
Whoa.
You're not an amateur. You've been doing this.
Yo, this dude.
Big cop. Also,
people would vote for him. If he ran for president, people would vote for him.
You see that? So he means he would vote for him. So let me remind you, Mr. Black Man, you will get deported back to Africa too. Okay, just I want you to know that, because you know what I'm saying. You think it's cool. So let's ride with your logic. Let's ride with their logic. Let's use the white man logic and the black man logic, and let's connect it together, and let's see who enjoys the deportation. Because guess what? We're skipping a hop. You're a fucking 3,000 miles away. Enjoy the fucking boat ride back.
How can you say that?
How can you think otherwise?
Mr. Taylor,
why evidence would you have to think that a pygmy is, on average, is just as intelligent as a Dane? Why would you think that? It's completely consistent with the assumption that black Africans are less intelligent on average than Asians or Caucasians.
That's absurd. That's repugnant and absurd.
Why would you even entertain the possibility that on average a pygmy is as intelligent as a Japanese?
The comparison that you are trying to make, it is simply impossible because of historical circumstances, because economic conditions, because of the moment.
We have to be willing to say to all those who are non-European, we wish you well, but this territory is for us. And sorry, we have the right to be us, and only we can be us.
Our tribal ape instincts still continue to have an influence on how we exist in society when it comes to our skin color and what happens to be between our legs. But that's not what makes us us. What makes each person themselves is what makes them themselves. Kind of reductive, right? It's the things that we enjoy doing. It's the things that...
Yeah, well, he's going to say that shit. He's probably Christian, too, and celebrates Christmas December 25th on Nimrod Day. So, you know, I don't got time for that. But anyways, family, look, I appreciate you guys watching through. And I'm sorry if I'm sometimes harsh, but I like to speak facts because I think it's just fucking fucked up and wrong that people can get away with stupid shit and they think it's okay. Now, all of a sudden, the white man continues to be racist. Now you're going to, like, coattail his ass to be racist, too. And just because you have some skin tone on your ass, you're going to get away with it. Not in this fucking channel, you ain't. Here, facts tell, stories sell. We don't bullshit here. And I've never been a respecter of persons. I call out every nation, every single one, since the beginning. You guys have a good night. Hopefully you enjoy this music. Shalom.
Oye, que estamos aquí. Mírame, estamos aquí. Desde hace rato, cuando ustedes llegaron, ya estaban las huellas de nuestros zapatos. Se robaron hasta la comida de gato y todavía se están lamiendo el plato. Bien encabronados con estos ingratos. Hoy le doy duro a los tambores hasta que me acusen de maltrato. Si no entiendes el dato, pues te lo tiro en cumbia, bossa nova, tango o vallenato. A lo Calaboy y bambú, bien frontú, con sangre caliente como Timbuktu. Estamos dentro del menú, Tupac, se llama Tupac, por Tupac Amaru del Perú. América no es solo USA, papá, esto es desde Tierra del Fuego hasta Canadá. Hay que ser bien bruto, bien hueco, es como decir que África es solo Marruecos. Estos canallas se les olvidó que el calendario que usan se lo inventaron los mayas con la Valdivia precolombina. Desde hace tiempo, este continente camina, pero ni con toda la marina pueden sacar de la vitrina la peste campesina. Esto va para el capataz de la empresa. El machete no es solo para cortar caña, también es para cortar cabeza.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Los paramilitares, las guerrillas, los hijos del conflicto, las pandillas, las listas negras, los falsos positivos, los periodistas asesinados, los desaparecidos, los narcogobiernos, todos los que robaron, los que se manifiestan y los que se olvidaron, las persecuciones, los golpes de estado, el país en quiebra, los exiliados, el peso devaluado, el tráfico de droga, los carteles, las invasiones, los emigrantes sin papeles, 5 presidentes en 11 días, disparo a quemarropa por parte de la policía, más de 100 años de tortura, la nova trova cantando en plena dictadura. Somos la sangre que sopla la presión atmosférica. Gambino, mi hermano, esto sí es América.
Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. Aquí estamos, siempre estamos, no nos fuimos, no nos vamos. Aquí estamos pa' que te recuerdes. Si quieres mi machete te muerde. 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 Te muerde, te muerde.
Mi gente, por ahí andan las noticias que según quieren deportar a toda la raza trabajadora y les hicimos este corrido, compa Kevin.
Para que le pongan oído dice más o menos así, compadre. Años tengo trabajando de este lado, buscando el mentado sueño americano.
Los gringos aquí ya no nos quieren, que según les estorbamos.
Se menciona mucho en los noticieros, traen muchos mitotes esos del gobierno.
Resulta ya quieren deportarme, en eso no estamos de acuerdo.
Resulta que por ser inmigrante mi valor es insignificante. Si supieran lo que batallamos para salir adelante.
Ya con día salimos a chambear, no creo que a nadie le hagamos mal. Ya quisiera verlos trabajando como lo hace este ilegal. ¿Y qué culpa tenemos nosotros los inmigrantes por querer buscar nuestros sueños? ¡Ánimo, mi gente! Y no se me rajen.
Y así suenan los de la norte, compa Jesús Méndez. Puro elegante récord, mi viejo. ¡Ay, ay, ay!
Unos días no duermo y otros como mal, pa' que a mi familia nada le pueda faltar.
Se murió mi madre y a mi padre, espero volverlo a mirar.
Canto por mi gente, no se vayan a agüitar, que Diosito es grande y de esta ley nos va a salvar.
No más acuérdense de Florida, nos volvieron a ocupar.
Resulta que por ser inmigrante mi valor es insignificante.
creo que a nadie le hagamos mal. Ya quisiera verlos trabajando como lo hace este ilegal.
Vénganse, ándale. Eso, corran los chapulines, hijos de la madre.
Querido abuelo, tu recuerdo aquí en mi alma siempre está. Daría todo por sentirte y abrazarte una vez más. Se mira triste el rancho desde que no estás, y aquella viejecita no puedo ocultar que le haces falta. Su sonrisa ya no ha vuelto a ser igual. Querido abuelo, tus sombreros siguen en el mismo lugar, y aquellas tierras necesitan que las vuelvas a sembrar. Lo que te conté de niña hoy es realidad. Desde arriba yo sé que de mi orgulloso estás. Quiero que sepas que es un honor tu sangre representar. Tú siempre decías, persigue tus sueños, cuentas con mi apoyo de acá desde lejos, que para vernos ya habrá más tiempo, pero no fue así, ya no hubo más tiempo. Y cómo olvidar cuando los visitaba, el olor del campo todas las mañanas. No me importaba dormir en el suelo, yo era millonaria, no más con tenerlos, no más con tenerlos. Siempre decías, persigue tus sueños, cuentas con mi apoyo y acá desde lejos, que para vernos ya habrá más tiempo, pero no fue así, ya no hubo más tiempo. Y cómo olvidar cuando los visitaba, el olor del campo todas las mañanas. No me importaba dormir en el suelo, yo era millonaria, no más con tenerlos, no más con tenerlos.
Viven muriendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, that's so real. Love man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa, y nuestra prosa siempre vaya favor, no. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo, sangre si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, con falta almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
هوا ديالي شو من حالي وشو من حالي، هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي، هو اللي جاي يديني اليوم وباغي سالي، ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري. الحل شوف الحالي هني بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي هو اللي جاي الدنيا llamo va مثالي ربي يحفظي يا ولا بالي Tuve un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte pude hacer algo para calmar mi dolor y es por eso que le pongo flow viviendo alto siempre Purrucubimba, y es que todo por la familia. Purrucubimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir. Purrucubimba, y es que todo por la familia. Purrucubimba, y es por eso vengo a bendecir.
Familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, Rastafarian familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super slalom, subiendo a nuevo escalón. Metallic in the salon, esquivo like si de Stallone. Esos tres van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón. Aunque me enrollo nada cáñamo, nunca me paro. Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir. Buscan el elixir, está metalizado. Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir sexy flow y skill con este descaro. Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo. Por un connection Antarctic Field, dígalo. A mí nadie area de París, diría yo. Los magnetes han llegado, están aquí, víalo. Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas, es la vida en ámbar. Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida. Yo llevaré tus bambas, familia, fighting the hate and the media, familia. It's original, man. Familia, fighting the hate and the media, familia. Yo soy un rocket, ellos Aprilia. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el teto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final. Con los míos siempre se lo baila. Menea, melena, remueve la vaina. Aunque agarre fuerte el teto para que no se caiga. Son los magna de Boss Final. Dispara millas sin mirar y sin mirar sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo. Los manas de la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar piltrafillas, de no nos pilla y se va con la furgo. Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura, si se apura quizás llega la locura de mi turbo. Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula quieta que sola llega Luxemburgo.
Niño, prepara la compota que la pera pata.
Pero vinimos a mejorarla.
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad.
Saben que no puedo cagarla.
Si pones ritmo y los manos dentro de 4 patas. ¿Quieres esa vaina? Va a probarla. Toda la que en el party tan desagata. Guata que el guatan alma. Vive muriendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it mood, so real. Lo es man, never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa. Y nuestra prosa siempre para fabono. Tú podrás por mierda traicionar a tu familia, matar tu bro, sangre si aplausos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, Rastafarian familia. Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Bombo cry, sing it, cross the line on them. Warfare, vengo con los míos, Magna Gate, fire them. Bombo cry, sing it, cross the line on them. Warfare, vengo con los manas y saqué, fire them. A girl stop, shut up on the microphone ballad. And smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Rasta man, I got Illuminati, play the kill. Stop, shut up on the microphone ballad. And smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap. Bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Key Cray is a king, Magna sting. Nobody, no kill them. In a creepy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody, no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally, the fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familia, Rasta chai is familia. Kikray is familia. Pure nego is familia.
Familia, Zico, Key Magneto, familia. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínima. Familia, familia, compactar más cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta y Zion, familia, 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 Magna Boy que te aplasta, nego. Yeah, man. Oh, respect and love from the world, nigga. Show them. You nigga on a microphone. Can't I sit in number 15? Rock you in the studio. Bomba, claro. ¿De qué manera sufre el alma cuando alguien se va? No hay medicina que cure esa larga enfermedad. La vitamina de la vida en esta sociedad es tan divina que por nombre tiene libertad. Libérate de la mentira que está por llegar. Mide tu orgullo antes de empezar a hablar. Cierra la puerta a quien no merezca entrar, porque hay mucho que se fue y sueña con regresar. Hablemos en silencio y así no me mentirás. El poder de la palabra muere cuando hablan de más. No me fío de oraciones que se dicen por detrás. Si me miras a los ojos no te mentiré jamás. Que besar por besar es jugar por jugar. Y vivir sin amor es vivir sin amar. Solo queda la fe, solo queda soñar. Ponte de pie, ready para luchar. Some love, I can just smoke and there are some love them. I can just smoke and there are some love. I remember no fire, no girl. Ribby day. Call it with a mama soul, yeah. ¿De cuánto tiempo hablamos cuando hablamos de querer? Si la mitad lo malgastamos solo en comprender. ¿De qué manera es más fácil aprender? Que nacemos para ganar y morimos al perder. No puedo dejar de animarte, que cuando te caigas debes levantarte. Llegué para contarte que no todo artista muere por su arte. Traigo el honor de un humano con valor que utiliza poesía para respirar mejor. Escribo prosa para vengar al amor y recuerda aquella rosa que tiraron al contenedor. ¿Dónde se quedó el amor? Hey, I no voy a sitio on no microphone forever, never. Tell me, roll some love. I can just smoke and the light, some love them. I Rastafari my life, some love. I remember no fire, no burn. Ribby day. I live with a farmer soul, yeah. Reggae man a farmer warrior, warrior day. Not a really thing. Oh, yeah man. Y se piensa que la música es un juego, lo lleva claro, hermano. Desde España, internacional, bomba, clack, you, nego. Not so really easy. No. Pure nigga on the microphone. Hey, tell us what? Tell us anything. Tell if I'm a Rasta, feeling on my sin. Hey, more love.
Se ve tan mal cuando miras a otro lado, los fantasmas del pasado no se detendrán hasta verte derrumbado. Peores lo hemos pasado. Andaba a golpes con la tristeza, me aportó riqueza, me otorgó sabiduría, pues se dibujaba en todas mis piezas. Yo con alegría le daba color después. La aguja sigue girando, tiempo parece burlar de mí. Dijo que sanaría esperando, pero creo que la espina aún sigue ahí. Con los dedos no voy palpando. Cierro los puños, escapa de aquí. Agonizando, no me espera el tiempo, no voy a esperar por ti.
Nuestras huellas en la orilla se han borrado por la marea.
Esas estrellas ya no brillan, las entiendo pa' que veas. Sea donde sea, bajo la tormenta o dentro de la odisea, donde arañas cubren el cielo de tela, los aviones nadan y los barcos vuelan. Aunque parezca que va bien, no sabes bien si va mal. Besos que pueden doler, ojos que pueden matar. Tengo mi alma en el almacén encerrada, mi corazón está en huelga, mis sentimientos en ámbar. Gente que la mala dijo que estaría presente, fallaron como nunca, se fueron para siempre. Millones de razones para vengarme, pero a veces duele más actuar indiferente.
Como no quieren ver ahogados, tenemos branquias y cerrados los bronquios como la mente de un guardia. Yo soy la montaña y vine con la cordillera. Más cojones que tu ganga tiene una madre soltera. Tú cúbrete si suena mi tu. A mí la tengo soldado fumando de su palulú. Ni un conjuro de grimorio me lo salva del velorio. Pa' tener pila valorio se matan vestidos de emporio. Yo no quiero una pistola, estoy soñando que la vida que quería me llega a tiempo. Desde que yo la vi sola, loco ando. Vino a verme cuando el sol se estaba poniendo y se dejó una pluma y se perdió en la bruma. Nunca se despidió de mí, nunca se despidió de mí.
Vivo en un mundo que parece roto y sé que no, porque todo es perfecto y lo debo plasmar. Me fumo un trocolor tras otro y lo veo todo otro color. Me siento libre porque vuelvo a conectar. Mi gente sufre y no lo puedo evitar, más que dándole consejos siempre desde la humildad. Es su camino hacia la fraternidad. Solo puedo que enseñarles a respetar y amar. Con esta bendición como no voy a aprovechar. Los códigos que llegan los tenemos que aceptar. Si me reencarné fue para ayudar y no para malgastar mi tiempo en beneficio del mal. En la unión nace la fuerza y eso nos hace. Muero porque toques el cielo, pero no el suelo, así que créetelo. Quítate el velo velozmente, bro. Vívete tu sueño, pero despierta a la hora que toca. Esa hora, motherfucker, wake up.
Yo me meo en tu cubata antes, bebo matar ratas con tan. Voy al bosque a lo Tarzán mientras enlazan. Fraternidad en casa con su polo colister a estrenar. Se han dejado en el desván de su pensar un mar de ideas. Con grandes ideas ardiendo en chimeneas antiguas. Ríe Dios al ver que te santiguas. Su mente y su luz son ambiguas como mi voz. Lo que para ti es un don, para mí una misión fija. Mis versos son de ninja, tu poesía pa' fijas. Que no se fijan, que hay más allá del cristal. La matriz hipnotiza, mi energía os hace trizas. Yo en mi nave nodriza, comiendo pizza con piña, moldeo toroides, vórtices. Con mi mente arborescente, junto con y milos para crear pegasos en ese perro. Cánticos lemurianos me hacen sentir como en mi hogar. La noche se avecina y se afilan colmillos de vampiras psíquicas. Frecuencias del malestar las alimentan. Nuestro deber es tener garra críticas. Bazookas espaciales latada con la función del sol central, causando desinformaciones bíblicas. Todo lo existente es relativo, o al menos la materia que te describo. Soy antipersonas como las minas y mino. La moral del que venga a negar lo que digo con la mira pues tan ombligo. Si me retiro del partido que sea como Figo. Conocidos en me la pela en verdad. Si en mi barrio me conocen más que tú a tu enamorada. No hay payasos, solo en anémonas. Gárgola Andrómeda eres. Conserva tus células primigenias o no podrás volar. El virus se llevó a unos cuantos, pero elevó a más. Elevó el más a la opulencia. Digo, ciencia de vaso y Satanás en el espejo. Jesucristo, la conciencia del flow. La tierra y su paz están vibrando. Los sentimientos son la trampa que están manejando.
Si no, ya hubiera ido a visitar al doctor. Porque no soy devoto, mucho menos un santo. Yo jamás voto, pero dale que asalto. Cuando en verdad sé que tendría que sudarme todo la polla, pero pienso que hay que vivir por algo. Que en el letargo cure lo enfermo, sabor amargo, remedio eterno. Me pregunto a toda esa gente que le he hecho y canalizo desde el cielo un verbo así.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.